Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Survival, The Evolution of the Evil God starting from Spiders. Chapter 1. Welcome to the survival game. Please remember these points. 1. This is a real different world, everything is real. 2. All human beings will randomly turn into a kind of creature, some are ordinary animals, some are ordinary plants. Of course, it is not ruled out that some are the chosen ones and are born with divine beasts. 3. Everyone can rely on killing to evolve, gain evolution points through killing, and continuously improve various abilities. 4. Whether you encounter players or cooperate with them depends on you, but a word of advice, this is a cruel world and there is no real friendship. 5. Survive. Deep in the mountains, a very humid valley. A huge, tattered web floated in the wind. The originally terrifying and huge creature had long since disappeared, leaving only a black spider about the size of a fist curled up in the corner. This is a very cute spider. Purple and black lines model its body. The 8 long black legs are tough and powerful, and the scattered hairs on its back are like sharp thorns. The 2 pairs of upper and lower jaws, which were nearly several centimeters long, looked sharp, while the pair of black eyes, like black gems, looked curiously at the world. However, if you look carefully, you can definitely see that there is doubt and astonishment in the depths of this little spider's eyes. He was reborn. No, to be more precise, the whole world has been reborn. They all came to this vast world and became members of this world. And he became a little spider. Looking quietly in front of his eyes, countless words dispersed like flames, and Luzimo was stunned for a while. This is really a game. Feeling the cold wind whistling through the canyon, Luzimo couldn't help but shudder. This game is not 100% realistic, even Luzimo doesn't believe it. Moreover, what is even more terrifying is that there are shrill beast roars coming from the distant mountains. The sound was like a wolf howling, also like the eagle cries. Extremely scary. Just listening to it made Luzimo feel his body shaking again and again. This is an instinctive fear. The sadness that comes from the bottom of the food chain pyramid. Just because he is just a spider. A spider that looks big but is still very weak. During a period of silence, Luzimo also remembered the prompt just now. This is a real world. Killing can make you stronger. While murmuring softly, Luzimo also chewed on the last sentence. Stay alive. 3 simple words, but it makes people's hearts tighten. And this is the world he is about to face. A big world that may be very dangerous or even terrifying. However, before that, Luzimo's eyes also fell on the light curtain not far away. This light curtain looks like a game panel. However, there are only 2 very simple project columns. One is chat, one is attribute. Opening the chat channel, Luzimo also noticed that it seemed to be divided into regional channel and world channel. On the world channel, many people have already started chatting. Oh my god, how could I become a deadbeat? How is this going to work? Wait, how did I get here? Are you kidding me? Game, what the hell? I am a multi-millionaire. Whoever wants to play this crappy game can help me quit. I will give him money. Give him money. I became a tiger, haha, invincible at the beginning. Wait, there is a wolf running towards me, I'm just a rabbit, hey. Watching these conversations one after another, Luzimo also had a clear idea. It seems that some people adapt to this world very quickly. However, more people have not adapted. Of course, it cannot be ruled out that some people start in hell mode, become rabbits, and actually encounter wolves. He wanted to laugh but couldn't. Then, Luzimo also saw this person's chat profile picture, which gradually turned gray. He's dead. While murmuring softly, Luzimo's heart also tightened. Die. A very distant word in the past life. Now, it seems within reach. Fortunately, Luzimo is a big-hearted person and can accept this quickly. World channel can only speak once a day. Looking at the 1 foot marked on the world channel, Luzimo also vaguely understood the meaning. As for the regional channel, it has 3 speeches. However, as a smart person, Luzimo would never speak on the regional channel casually. Now, anyone can be an enemy. The regional channel people are nearby. If any information is leaked during the chat, death is probably not far away. Luzimo still trusts the sentence prompted by the system. There are no absolute peers, and anyone can become an enemy. However, even so, Lou Zemo opened the regional channel and paid attention. Haha, I became a 10-meter-long giant python. When I climbed up, the earth shook. I started with 30 strength and 40 constitution. I was a great player in my previous life, but now I start as a wolf. Now it's fun. Well, I am a little squirrel, but in my previous life, I was Lu Feifei. Who can take me back to reality, and then? I don't want to play this game, I don't want to play. Ooh, you call me a frog, but I'm actually a willow tree. ... Watching quietly, Lou Zemo's eyes also condensed. The 10-meter-long giant python at the beginning is a bit scary. And that high-playing master is also worth paying attention to. As a game master, he must have adapted quickly to this semi-digital world. As for Lu Feifei, she seems to be a third-tier star. Unexpectedly, she was nearby. He smiled in his heart, but Lou Zemo didn't care much. He is not interested in things between men and women. And, more importantly, he is now a spider. Is it possible to crawl with squirrels? However, at this moment, Lou Zemo was startled as if he thought of something. Just because, at this moment, he remembered a joke. Does reproductive isolation affect your virginity? Ahem. There was a dry cough in his heart, and Lou Zemo also felt his anus tighten. Definitely get stronger. After all, he wants to protect his chrysanthemum. ... So the next step is to look at the properties panel. Race: mutated ultra small spider. Level: 0. Evolution points: 0. 4 dimensions: strength: 0.5, agility: 1, constitution: 0.8, spirit: 12. Each attribute for a normal person is 10. Talents: killing evolution, adaptability. Skill: silk spinning, able to spin out silk threads. Killing evolution: even relatively weak spiders have unlimited possibilities. They can rely on killing to continuously evolve, and they can also rely on eating to continuously strengthen themselves. Adaptability: you are a gifted spider. You have extremely strong adaptability. You can adapt to various avocado environments, and you have a certain chance of gaining corresponding resistance. Watching quietly, Lou Zemo's face gradually turned ugly. This gap is too big. He just saw a man blowing himself up on the regional channel. He started with 30 strength and 40 constitution. Good guy. He is only in single digits, not even single digits. This is a joke. Feeling bitter in his heart, Lou Zemo was also a little confused. There is no contrast, no gap. With the comparison, my mentality collapsed. Wipe. Resisting the twitching of the corners of his eyes, Lou Zemo also decided to try his exclusive ability, spinning silk. This ability is like instinct. It doesn't take long to get used to it. I tried my best, but it didn't feel good. And the very next moment, shua, very thin spider silk suddenly spurted out from Lou Zemo's belly. Very nice. Shot half a meter away. Compared to my current body shape, I should be relieved. Only, this is too tragic. How can such spider silk be put to use? Is it possible that we still rely on this ability to hunt? I feel like I played with a whale. Lou Zemo's ambition disappeared. Now, he feels that it is difficult for him to survive. However, just when Lou Zemo was a little desperate. Ding, your exclusive system has arrived. Ding, your newbie gift package has been opened. Ding, you will get a chance to strengthen at the god level, please choose the direction of strengthening. ... This is... Amidst the sudden exclamation, Lou Zemo was also stunned. System. Are you kidding me? Is there a system? Etc. The chat channel was opened immediately, and Lou Zemo kept swiping through it. No, really not. No one mentioned the system. Could it be that this is really a system unique to him? Gulu. Swallowing his saliva, Lou Zemo also focused on this ability. Excuse me, what is the use of this god-level enhancement? Ding, it can strengthen your ability, like a qualitative change, giving you 10 times or even dozens of times the power of your ability. Hearing this, Lou Zemo did not hesitate. Directly chose the enhanced spider silk. You know, the most praiseworthy thing about spiders is their silk. If you don't strengthen this ability, what will be strengthened? Strengthened spider silk. As soon as he finished speaking, Lou Zemo suddenly felt a surge of heat surging through his body. Boom, Boom, boom. Like a volcano erupting, his entire body was boiling in an instant. Unimaginable power surges in the deepest part of the body. It was as if it was transforming his entire body. It's just that it's not important. The important thing is that at this time, there is countless information in his mind. Ding! Congratulations on your success in strengthening the spider silk. You have obtained a wisp of the law of threads and have absolute control over the spider silk. At the same time, the spider silk you shoot will have 10 times the toughness and power of the same kind. The law of threads, the legendary law that can give your spider silk infinite possibilities. You can use the subtle manipulation of your spider legs to freely control threads that are so thin that they are invisible to the naked eye. You can also rely on these spider threads to cut everything and even penetrate everything. At the same time, if you develop this ability to its full potential, you will be able to assimilate all things into spider silk. Spider silk is like a sea, drowning everything. Lu Zimo's eyes widened as he spoke one after another. Just because, this spider silk actually turned into a god-level ability. God-level spider silk. While muttering softly, Lu Zimo also subconsciously moved his body. With all his strength, he aimed at a big tree not far away where two people were hugging each other. Shua! It suddenly broke through the air, like a bullet piercing the air. Immediately afterwards, boom! With a loud noise, the whole tree shook. At this time, if you pay attention, you will definitely find that there is a palm-sized spider web on the body of this big tree. And this is Lu Zimo, spinning silk today. With a slight spit, it was like a bullet being shot out, shaking the big tree. Compared to just now, the power is incomparable. And, more importantly, Lu Zimo also felt a burst of elasticity when he gently pulled on the spider silk. Strong and powerful. Aha! Just hearing a sound breaking through the air, Lu Zimo's body, driven by this piece of spider silk, flew towards the big tree not far away. This is traction. Using the terrifying stickiness of the spider silk was stuck to the big tree, and then relying on the elasticity of the spider silk, it pulled Lu Zimo's body to make simple movements. Of course, this is just a fantasy. Just because, at the next moment, there was a pop sound, Lu Zimo's entire body was hit hard against the tree, and an unimaginable pain spread throughout his body. If Lu Zimo were a human, then he would be like an octopus, sliding down from the tree. His nose was bruised and his face was swollen, and he was very embarrassed. Reality is crueler than imagined. With a wry smile, Lu Zimo also endured the severe pain and propped up his body. Still, not bad. This is indeed, in a sense, a god-level spider silk. The terrifying adhesive force is stronger than 520 glue in the human world. The unimaginable toughness makes spider silk very difficult to destroy. And, that sudden impact. It should be this god-level ability that transformed Lu Zimo's spider spinner, making the spider silk it shoots have an unparalleled impact as before. Therefore, the moment it was spit out, it was like a bullet. Sharp and terrifying. If Lu Zimo wants to, he only needs to shoot out the spider threads one after another, and they can attack others like bullets. Of course, this is just an application of spinning silk. As the core ability of spider, the value of developing his ability is beyond imagination. Just like now, as if instinctively, Lu Zimo also started to weave a spider web on the tree. For spiders, what could be better than sitting back and waiting? With a smile in his heart, Lu Zimo started working hard like a diligent gardener. Time passed slowly, and in a blink of an eye, it was already midnight. And at this moment, if you look towards this canyon, you will definitely be able to see huge spider webs one after another, densely covered in the corners of the canyon. And Lu Zimo was already tired enough to rest. However, at this moment, a burst of shaking woke Lu Zimo up. Looking for the source of the vibration, he saw a palm-sized mantis struggling hard on the spider web he had made. Not just praying mantises, there are also many insects. Tisk, tisk. After smacking his mouth, Lu Zimo also felt hungry. As for disgusting things, sorry, those words were already far away from him at the moment he became a spider. His survival instinct makes him not very resistant to these foods. So, tiptoeing through the spider web, Lu Zimo also walked towards the prey in the distance. Not long after, Lu Zimo opened his mouth and bit into the unable to move mantis. Stab it. With a very clear sound, Luzimo also injected the venom secreted by the venom glands in the chelicerae into the body of the mantis. These are all instincts engraved in the body and do not require deliberate learning. Ding, you have killed a level 2 mantis, and your evolution points +2. Amid the sudden reminder, Luzimo also noticed that mantis had expired. As long as you kill the prey, you can harvest evolution points. While muttering softly, Luzimo didn't think much about it. What's more important now is filling your stomach. Click, click, with one crisp sound after another, the head was removed, and most of the mantis's body entered Luzimo's belly. Ding, you are eating a mantis, experience +2. Ding, you are eating a mantis, experience +2. Amidst the continuous prompts, Luzimo also saw that his attribute column had one item, which was constantly rising. Until, at some point, ding, you have full experience and have been upgraded. As soon as he finished speaking, Luzimo felt a wave of heat surge through his body. Boom, along with the terrifying roar, his entire body began to tremble. As he continued to expand, his body grew larger. What's even more exaggerated is that his 8 black feet, which are like sharp blades, are getting sharper. And this is evolution, an evolution unique to the player. However, this is because Luzimo is inherently too weak. This was his first upgrade, and the changes were so big. If it were other animals, such as tigers and lions, there might not be any changes. And this is also the fairness of this game. The evolution of animals and even plants that are inherently powerful must be difficult, and the experience required is doubled. As for animals and even plants that are inherently weak, their early evolution is relatively simple. You only need to hunt 1 or 2 prey to complete the initial evolution. However, this is evolution, not an advancement. Evolution is just a further enhancement of the strength of the species itself. However, this species itself has its limits. Just like a spider, no matter how powerful it is, it cannot surpass a tiger. Therefore, at this time, the role of the evolution point is reflected. If there are enough evolutionary points, it is possible to break through the limits of this species and open up new evolutionary possibilities. For example, if he continues to use evolutionary points to strengthen his sharp legs, then he is likely to become a new type of spider that makes a living by attacking with sharp legs and is good at cutting. For another example, if he continues to use evolution points to strengthen his mental power, then he is likely to evolve into a spider that lives on charm. These are all possibilities. Everything is decided by him. However, strengthening this thing must be done well. If we strengthen in the wrong direction, we may be doomed in the future. Because, in this world, there is no such thing as re-strengthening. Every strengthening is very important to him. Just, right now, there's no rush. He hasn't evolved to the limit of being a spider yet. On the contrary, there is no need to choose the direction of strengthening too early. It will take some time to get used to it. Time passed slowly, and days passed in the blink of an eye. And just these days, Luzimo is also obsessed with hunting and eating. Ding, you are eating rabbit, experience value +10. Ding, you are eating rabbit, experience value +10. Ding, you have killed a level 5 rabbit, evolution points +5. Amidst the continuous prompts, a black spider, which was larger than a fist, and its 8 black legs kept paddling on the body of a gray rabbit and began to eat. As the number of corpses of this gray rabbit continued to decrease, a large amount of text also appeared on Luzimo's attribute panel. At the same time, a wave of heat surged through Luzimo's body. This is evolution. Now, he has evolved towards level 5. And during this period of time, his attributes continued to rise. Race: mutated ultra small spider. Level: 5. Evolution points: 120. 4 dimensions: strength: 5, agility: 10, constitution: 8, spirit: 12. Each attribute for a normal person is 10. Talents: killing evolution, adaptability. Skill: God level silk spinning, can spin out silk threads. This is his current properties panel. Compared to the original, the strength, agility, and physique have all been improved 10 times. 10 times, just right. It is also the limit of his species as a spider. To be more precise, for his little spider species, reaching level 5 is the limit. Now he can be called the Spider King, in his own species. However, this is not what Luzimo wants. Only through transcendence can the evolution of this species be considered true evolution. In other words, we must break the limits of this species. However, there is no rush. Now he should adapt to the level 5 power. Suddenly, Luzimo's 8 spider legs were seen in the sky, paddling continuously, running at high speed in the canyon. I have to say that having more legs is beneficial. His current speed can match a human's full sprint. You know, he is only as big as a palm. His speed is so fast. Combined with his petite body, from a distance, he looked like a black shadow, passing through. And his strength is close to half of that of normal humans. A normal person punches with a force of 150 to 200 kilograms. And his 5 points of strength means he has the strength of 75 to 100 kilograms. But now, the spider legs suddenly lifted up, and Luzimo slashed at the small tree with a thick wrist not far away. Boom! With a loud noise, the small tree shook and almost broke. This means that his spider legs are no longer sharp. If it were sharper, like a knife, then the spider's leg would be enough to split the small tree in two. As for why Luzimo's 5-point power is so terrifying, that's naturally due to his petite body. The petite body contains great power, and its explosion is absolutely terrifying. It is no exaggeration to say that in a suitable dark night environment, Luzimo can kill 10 unarmed ordinary people even without the magical skill of spinning silk. In terms of speed, he is about the same as a human. But he is small. When it comes to speed, he is like a mouse, too fast to be caught by the naked eye. Coupled with his attacks that are enough to threaten humans. With a smile in his heart, Luzimo was also satisfied. Not long after, Luzimo was eating again, his eyes also focused on the experience bar. It's not going up anymore. With a sigh, Luzimo was also helpless. If he doesn't advance, no matter how much he kills, he won't be able to upgrade again. Simply because the limit of his current spider species is level 5. Reached the ceiling. So, advancing is a must. But, just when Luzimo was thinking about this. Ding, it's detected that you have reached the limit of your species. Ding, it's been detected that you already have 100 evolution points. Ding, the species advancement conditions are met and you can evolve into a small spider. Ding, please choose the direction of advancement. Use the spider legs as sharp blades, like sickles, to slash the enemy's sickle spiders. Venomous spiders that are mainly poisonous. Mainly use spider silk, and rely on weaving spider webs to wait. A hunting spider for its prey, a ghost-faced spider that mainly strengthens its spirit and attracts others. Ding, please remind me about the direction of advancement. It will not affect future enhancements. Even sickle spiders can enhance their venom. However, the choice of advancement can extend the exclusive abilities of this type of spider and does not require more development. Quote. Scythe spider. Amid the sudden murmur, Luzimo did not hesitate. Scythe spider not only has its attack power greatly improved, but also its agility. After all, it is the strengthening of 8 legs. As the 8 spider legs become stronger, Luzimo will naturally run faster. In a fight or a fight, you will definitely encounter someone you can't beat. Luzimo doesn't think that having a god-level ability to spin silk makes him invincible. Therefore, he must be prepared to escape. If you can't beat it, if you can't run away, then you're really gone. While muttering softly, Luzimo also laughed. Agility is definitely the top priority. The attack power may not be high, and the defense may be weak. But the speed must not be slow. Moreover, he was born with 8 spider legs, so he can run fast. If the spider legs were strengthened, his speed would probably change drastically. With a smile in his heart, Luzimo also took a look at other advancement directions. There are really many advancement directions, some focus on poison, some focus on defense, some focus on spirit. The various advancements are all types of small spiders. But the most suitable for the early game is the scythe spider. Thinking of this, Luzimo also decided. Advanced, scythe spider. Ding, please make sure the surrounding environment is safe. You have 10 minutes to advance. As soon as he finished speaking, Luzimo felt a burning sensation coming from his body. Good guy, this is where it starts. Shocked, Lu Zimo also immediately started spinning silk and weaving a spider web. He is now in a corner of the canyon. With the help of spider silk, he quickly weaved a cocoon that was unique to him. It was as white as snow, covering his entire body. And the very next moment, boom, in the sudden roar, a torrent of energy like a river surged deep in his body. Accompanying this was an unimaginable sharp pain that submerged his entire body. His consciousness gradually returned to chaos. All that is left to Lu Zimo is endless darkness. Time passed slowly, and in the blink of an eye, 10 minutes had passed. At this time, if you look at a corner in the canyon, you will definitely be able to find a giant white cocoon the size of a ball, lying quietly here. Only, it's not pure white, but with a touch of blood. It's like the blood is stained red. However, at this moment, roar, a sudden roar came from the giant cocoon. Immediately afterwards, click, click, with one crisp sound after another, the entire giant cocoon fell apart, revealing a very huge spider inside the giant cocoon. This spider looks like it has been transformed into black jade. Has purple markings. The jaws are sharp, which is eye-catching. However, what is truly terrifying is the sharp-edged spider legs at the front of this spider. Yes, sharp blade. It was really like a sharp blade, glowing with a dark light. Cold and scary. Chilling. Just now, these two sharp spider legs easily cut through Lu Zimo's spider silk. However, I have to say that Lu Zimo's spider silk is still very powerful. His body had grown several times larger, but the giant cocoon made of spider silk did not expand. On the contrary, it continues to grow. It's really flexible. Among the soft sighs, Lu Zimo also sighed a little. If it weren't for the spider thread, which was much more fragile under his control, he might not have been able to cut it open. But then, it was fun. The first one is a spider that dies in its own web. If this spreads out, I'm afraid it will become a big news in the spider world. Somewhat embarrassed, Lu Zimo also decided that in the future, he would need to use cocoons to protect himself carefully. This is too scary. That is, this god-level spider silk can move at will. If it were any other spider, 99 times it would be suffocated to death in his giant white cocoon. So, his god-level spider silk is still a trump card. Even after he advanced into the scythe spider, it was still a trump card in his hand. And now, looking at his current body, Lu Zimo was also a little surprised. This is a sickle. While muttering softly, Lu Zimo also shook two dark spider legs that were more than 20 centimeters long. Unlike before, it had sharp burrs on it. Now, his two chelicerae look very smooth. Moreover, there is a hint of edge. Just like his current racial name, scythe spider. Lower monster, living in this world, a rather terrifying small vicious spider, good at attacking, using its chelicerae as a weapon, like a sickle, to cut down the enemy. And its exclusive ability, sickle, the claws are slashed out like a sickle, bringing out a sound that tears the air. Single quote. Quietly looking at the light blue text in front of him, Lu Zimo was also slightly startled. A lower level monster. This should be a division of mutated beasts in this world. Above the lower position, it may be the middle position, and above the middle position, it may be the upper position. I just don't know, what level of Warcraft is the giant python that said he had 30 strength and 40 constitution at the beginning? He should also be in the lower position. After all, the current Lu Zimo's panel data seems to be not much worse than him. Race. Small spider scythe spider. Level. 5. Evolution points. 20. 4 dimensions. Strength, 10, Agility, 20, Constitution, 16, Spirit, 12. Each attribute for a normal person is 10. Every time you advance, each attribute will double. And with every level improvement, strength, agility, and physique will increase differently. The more powerful the race, the more terrifying the growth of each attribute will be. Talents. Killing evolution, adaptability. Skill. God level silk spinning, able to spin out silk threads. Sickle slash. A slash like a sickle, which can greatly increase the power of the slash. Watching quietly, Lu Zimo was also delighted. Although, there is still a gap. But it's only twice as much. You know, there was a gap of dozens of times between him before. At that time, his fourth dimension was only a decimal, while that person was actually 30 or 40. However, at this time, as if he thought of something, Luzimo also shook his head. Don't be proud. While I am getting stronger, he is also getting stronger. While muttering softly, Luzimo also suppressed some of his thoughts. However, for a moment, Luzimo also turned his attention to the area not far away to chat. Flipping information one after another. He was trying to find information about the giant python. And not long after, just as Luzimo thought, he found. This guy should be someone who likes to show off. After discovering that he was invincible at the beginning, he was very proud to show off in various ways. Haha, I killed another huge wild boar. His grandma's, it took me 7 days, and I finally got a level up. My strength is now 32, and my constitution is 42. Oh my. Why is my defense so thick? I can't even be bitten by this wolf. Looking at these Versailles words one after another, the corners of Luzimo's eyes couldn't stop twitching. Even a wolf cannot break through the defense. The devil knows how terrible this defense is. But, not bad. Luzimo collected a lot of useful information. It takes 7 days to level up. As I thought, the more powerful the creature, the more experience it will take to level up. Also, when he levels up, his strength and physical attributes increase by 2 points. Before, it was almost 1 point. Sometimes, it was only 0.5 points. Whispering one after another, Luzimo also kept sorting out. However, at this moment, Luzimo discovered a key piece of information in the regional chat. Oh my god, have you discovered that you can improve the 4th dimension through exercise? I have been doing sit-ups, and my strength has actually increased a bit. Good guy, really good guy. Luzimo was also stunned again and again when he saw what the player with a giant bear's avatar discovered. This game is so real, it can actually increase the 4th dimension through exercise. If you think about it this way, you can no longer rely on simple levels to judge whether a creature is powerful or not. And, there's one more thing. After constant summarizing, combined with the prompts from the property panel, Luzimo also discovered a pattern. That is a creature that has not even reached the level of lower level monsters. Even if it is upgraded. Strength, agility, and speed are only increased by 1 point, or by 0.5 or 0.6. Descendable creatures. For example, the giant python and the high-playing wolf, their strength, agility, and physique have all increased by more than 1 point. The python is good at defense and strength. Therefore, his strength and defense increase are particularly outstanding, both are 2 points. As for agility, it is 1 point, or even not at all. And that wolf is good at speed, so its agility increases 2 points, and the rest are all 1 point, or less than 1 point. And this should be the advantage brought by race. As low-level monsters, their growth attributes are naturally better than those of ordinary beasts. Of course, this also includes Luzimo. If the guess is correct, his current agility increase should be 2 points. In other words, every time he upgrades, his agility will increase by 2 points. In this way, he will become more and more flexible. With a smile in his heart, Luzimo also looked forward to it. But now, just get used to your current body. Shua, suddenly breaking through the air, 6 legs moving together, Luzimo was so fast that it was terrifying. Looking from a distance, I only felt a black shadow passing by, and even the figure could not be seen clearly. And this is the speed of agility 20. Extremely terrifying. And at this moment, sickle, with a loud shout in his heart, Luzimo also raised his sickle. Click. In the sudden break of the sky, a giant tree broke in half, revealing a smooth incision. Tisk tisk. Luzimo smacked his mouth and smacked his tongue. His strength is only 10 points, and when combined with his cutting skills, he can actually cut down a big tree with one sword. Such terrible lethality. His title of lower-level ferocious demonic creature is truly worthy of his title. But this is not enough. With a grin on his face, Luzimo slowly walked towards a high mound and looked at the entire canyon. Now, he felt that he needed to expand his hunting area. However, this time, he not only weaves spider webs, but also relies on his sickle legs to fight his prey at close range. Only in this way can his fighting skills be improved in a short period of time. In his previous life, he was an ordinary person after all. There was no battle or even real fighting. Therefore, there are some things that he needs to learn from scratch. As for the God-level spider silk ability, he should use it more as a trump card. Use it when it counts. You must not become dependent on this ability. God-level spider silk is indeed powerful, but in the future, if I encounter a being who can restrain the spider silk, then I will be in big trouble without spider silk. So, I have to improve in all aspects to truly strengthen myself. Speaking of this, Lu Zimo also showed a hint of determination in the depths of his eyes. In his opinion, the hunter who truly stands at the top of the food chain should be flawless. Strength without weaknesses is true strength. As for him, a small goal is to stand at the top of the food chain and become the top hunter. At first, he didn't dare to think about it, but after being strengthened at the God level, he has unlimited possibilities. Boom! A sudden collision sounded in the outer corner of the canyon. Looking for the sound, it turned out to be a spider as big as a football, fighting fiercely with a giant snake several meters long. This spider is, of course, Lu Zimo. Now, his sickle feet are like two knives, constantly cutting through the space, causing a series of sparks. And this, the giant snake, is not simple either. This is a level 6 wire snake. Its body is as black as ink, like ironstone, very hard. Although it is slow, if it is entangled by him or bitten, even Lu Zimo will have to take off a layer of it. Skin. Isn't this the best sparring partner? With a smile in his heart, Lu Zimo looked at the giant snake that suddenly rushed towards him. He also pulled sideways and quickly pulled away. At the same time, he also raised the sickle in his hand and chopped it off hard. Click. There was a sudden explosion like the sound of iron being struck. My strength is only 10 points. This guy's defense is probably 15 points. Feeling helpless, Lu Zimo also decisively activated his skill, sickle. Boom! Amidst the sudden roar, there was a warm current surging in Lu Zimo's feet. And the very next moment, boom! As powerful as a wire snake, Lu Zimo chopped it away several meters away. There was a bottomless bloodstain, dripping with scarlet blood. Hiss! Amid the shrill wail, a hint of scarlet appeared in the depths of the eyes of this wire snake. Shua! Suddenly breaking through the air, it accelerated, slid straight across the ground, and shot towards Lu Zimo. So fast. His heart was shocked, and Lu Zimo's expression also changed slightly. The wire snake suddenly erupted too fast for him to react. If he was really bitten, Lu Zimo would be in big trouble given his size. You know, this is the wild. If one is accidentally seriously injured, it is tantamount to losing half his life. So, don't hesitate. There was no hesitation, and Lu Zimo's sickle feet kept shaking. And at the next moment, a very terrifying scene happened. I saw that the wire snake that was rushing towards me at an extremely fast speed was torn into pieces silently. Stab it, sting it. Countless blood spurted out, turning Lu Zimo red. At this time, if you look carefully, you can find that there are many bright and translucent blood-colored threads in the air. And this is the silk thread that Lu Zimo has already arranged in the air. At first, without Lu Zimo's control, these threads were all limp. But when Lu Zimo has a thought and controls the sickle foot, these invisible threads will continue to tighten, just like iron wire, as sharp as any. Moreover, these threads are extremely thin and difficult to see with the naked eye. And the wire snake, if not noticed, rushes at extremely fast speed. It will be like this. The strong impact force pouring on these crystal threads will turn them into unparalleled sharp blades and easily tear them apart. Terrible and horrifying, but it is Lu Zimo's brand new use of spider silk. During the battle, these invisible threads are constantly arranged. With just one thought in mind, terrifying murderous intent can erupt. These threads of mine are really deadly to fast creatures. With a smile in his heart, Lu Zimo's sickle feet kept shaking, retracting the bloody spider silk in the sky. His spider silk is very precious. Regeneration is not easy. It's better to take it back. And, more importantly, Lu Zimo doesn't want anyone to pick up his spider silk and keep studying it. So, take back is a must. And now, lifting up his 6 legs, Lu Zimo also walked towards the torn wire snake. Slowly opened his mouth. Click, click, ding, you are eating a level 6 wire snake, experience plus 60. Ding, you are eating a level 6 wire snake, experience plus 60. Ding, you are eating a level 6 wire snake, experience plus 60. The prompts came one after another, and Luzimo was also satisfied. Not only that, his evolutionary points have also skyrocketed. Directly, with a profit of 120 points. Sure enough, the level up challenge, experience and evolution points will be doubled. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly. Luzimo also saw his experience bar, which increased a lot. If nothing else happens, he will reach level 6 soon. After he advanced into a small spider-sized spider, his upgrade was not as easy as before. The demand for experience has obviously increased a lot. And this is fine. The increase in experience also means the increase in his strength. This is enough to prove that his efforts during this period were not in vain. However, at this time, Luzimo raised his eyes and looked at the regional chat and world chat. There were many dimmed avatars, and Luzimo's pupils also shrank. These are the people who have not adapted to this world and have been eliminated. Luzimo doesn't know if they will return to their original world. But one thing is for sure, that is, they are all dead to some extent. This world, 100% realistic, is no joke. Luzimo was bitten by a prey before and it hurt for a long time. He still dared not forget that kind of heart-wrenching pain. Now, one can also imagine what these dim avatar players have gone through. Or become food and enter other people's stomachs. Or, no matter which one, the end will definitely not be miserable. That kind of despair, indescribable. With this in mind, Luzimo also looked at these players with dim avatars and said the last words. No, I don't want to die, please, don't come here. Who can help me drive away this evil wolf? He is biting my body, biting my body. No, what is this? A monster, no. Among all these words, the one that shocked Luzimo the most was a figure with a human head and a fox tail. This guy seemed to be a man in his previous life. I didn't expect that when I came to this world, I would become a half-animal fox girl. It's not terrible, though. The really scary thing is, he died. Before he died, his last words were, it hurts, don't. Everyone, please remember that we are all Blue Star people. Help me take revenge, kill them, be sure to kill them. They are beasts, real beasts. In words full of resentment and hatred, this person also mentioned a geographical location and a tribe. No one knows what he went through before his death. But one thing is certain, that is, the moment he finished speaking, there was a rare silence on the world chat channel. A feeling of sadness arose spontaneously. Brother, go away, I will avenge you. Amidst the sudden murmur, deep in a large mountain, there were two ferocious-looking giant wolves, suddenly looking up to the sky and howling. Ouch! The shrill howl of the wolf stirred up the clouds and shook half of the mountain. And at this time, if you pay attention, you will definitely be able to find that the eyes of this very scary two-headed demon wolf are actually rare and moist. I recognized this fox girl. This was his roommate in his previous life. Just because this fox girl had protected her university and her name before. But, before he had time to recognize each other, everything was over. And, he left so suddenly. So sad. This is another world. With a miserable laugh, the demonic wolf standing on the top of the mountain was ignited with flames. The unimaginable anger turned into a fierce demonic fire. However, he can't go yet. He didn't know where that place was. Moreover, he is not strong enough. But one thing is for sure, when his strength reaches that level, he will slaughter that tribe and wipe out all existence. However, compared to this terrifying demonic wolf, the world chat channel also became rarely noisy after being silent. Go well, we are all from Blue Star. I will avenge you. Come on, brothers, we are all from Blue Star. I will kill them for you in the future. A group of natives dare to bully us. Death is nothing to be afraid of, but dying like this is really intolerable. One sentence after another, countless monsters and other creatures from all over the world expressed their opinions. Even Luzimo used the world channel for the first time after hesitation and said, go well, if we are destined, I will avenge you. Amidst the very indifferent words, a hint of cruelty flashed in the depths of Luzimo's eyes. Players, maybe enemies. But this player's last words before his death shocked many people. We are all Blue Star people. The other world is the real enemy. Moreover, Lu Zimo had a vague feeling that they seemed to have turned into the so-called fourth natural disaster. While growing, we must also try to conquer this vast world. Try to conquer this different world, trampling all the natives and others under their feet. Players can attack each other, but we must never allow the so-called indigenous people to ride on their heads. This world is really cruel. Slowly raising his head, looking at the blue sky that was different from the blue star, Lu Zimo was silent for a while. Must become stronger. To become stronger. Otherwise, his fate is hard to say. And now, slowly raising his sickle legs, Lu Zimo also decided to start a new round of hunting directly. And not long after, the spider webs continued to be woven, and one after another, huge spider webs could be seen with the naked eye, emerging around the canyon. Not only does he fight in close quarters, he also relies on spider webs for hunting. In this way, with a two-pronged approach, he can grow faster. After all prey are experience and evolution points. But, to be honest, when it comes to hunting, he should be relatively fast. Not only can you go hunting in person, but you can also use spider webs to wait and see. Just like now, the trembling from somewhere allowed Lu Zimo to capture some information. I caught another prey. Judging from the movement, it should be a large prey. With a smile in his heart, Lu Zimo was also satisfied. His spider silk, after being strengthened at the god level, is very terrifying. Any prey entangled in spider webs will be difficult to escape. Unless the body is too big, it can break free from the earth and trees that the spider web is attached to. Otherwise, it would be almost impossible to break free from this cobweb with brute force alone. And now, slowly raising his eyes, Lu Zimo's eyes were also looking into the distance. There, a very shrill scream came out. Listening to its voice, it sounds a bit like a wild boar. Tisk tisk. Smashing his mouth, Lu Zimo also kept groping forward in the canyon. After a while, he came to an open space. However, what caught his eye was a wild boar with long tusks, struggling on the ground. This wild boar is very big, it seems to be 1 or 2 meters tall. The fierce face was full of impatience. Perhaps in his opinion, it was impossible for a mere spider thread to entangle him. However, what this wild boar didn't notice was that as he continued to struggle, more and more spider silk continued to wrap around him. Along with this, his struggling movements became slower and slower. Threads of blood continued to overflow from his body. The bloodstains gradually deepened, more and more ferocious. After a while, a small pool of blood appeared on the ground. This guy is so tenacious. While muttering softly, Lu Zimo did not alert the enemy. As a hunter, he has no shortage of patience. When the wild boar becomes weaker and weaker, it will not be too late for him to go over. Now, he just needs to wait. Time passed slowly, and half a day passed in the blink of an eye. During this short period of time, Lu Zimo also went to other spider webs to simply eat. Not bad. They are small insects that can be regarded as desserts after a meal. The real feast comes at the end. Just like now, under the cover of night, Lu Zimo also touched the open space before. There, the scary-looking wild boar with long tusks was already dying. The massive blood loss and exhaustion finally made it unable to bear it. With a smile in his heart, Lu Zimo also slowly groped towards the direction of the wild boar. However, at this moment, he seemed to notice something. Ho, ho! Waves of low roars suddenly sounded in the night sky. Looking for the sound, not far away, the huge wild boar that had been lying on the ground was staring at his direction with scarlet eyes. Stare at me. With a cold smile, Lu Zimo also spit silk at him unceremoniously. Shua! There was just a sound piercing the air, and the filaments produced from the textile machine were fired at high speed like a gun. With a bang sound, a bottomless blood pit the size of a bullet appeared on the huge body of this tusked wild boar. This is elastic silk. Shoot the spider silk like a bullet. As for why it has such power, it is largely due to the god-level transformation that repeatedly strengthened Lu Zimo's textile machine. Therefore, his elastic silk has power that far exceeds his level. Just like now, under Lu Zimo's terrifying, elastic thread, the bones of this tusked wild boar hidden under the flesh and blood are probably broken. In this way, you can also imagine how terrifying his elastic silk is. And this is just the beginning. Shua, shua. One after another, Lu Zemo continued to shoot out his elastic wire. Accompanied by this, the shrill neighing of this tusked wild boar resounded throughout the night sky. This is a creature far beyond his level. Needless to say, it is also an 8th or even 10th level monster. Every attribute and even ability is beyond him. Therefore, to be on the safe side, Lu Zemo would only wait for him to die before approaching him. And this is necessary for the survival of this world. Just because, in the chat channel, Lu Zemo saw many players approaching rashly because they were not familiar with monsters or other skills. Then, before he died, he was left with a lot of regrets. I've already killed it. Why does it still explode? That guy was obviously seriously injured. Why did he finally burst out with such fighting power? That sentence, one sentence after another, like a blood lesson, was deeply imprinted on Lu Zemo's heart. Of course, it cannot be ruled out that some players were lucky enough to survive. However, Lu Zemo doesn't want to leave everything to luck. In real survival, there are no chances. Facing such creatures that were far beyond his level, one could never be too careful. Time passes slowly, and not long after, roar. Accompanied by a very shrill cry, the huge tusked wild boar finally fell to the ground, and its breath slowly disappeared. Finally dead. With a sigh, Lu Zemo was also a little helpless. It's really a thick-skinned monster. If it had been a wild boar in the previous life, or any other creature, one shot of elastic wire would have been fatal. But this guy, in such a weak condition, actually withstood 6 shots. Tisk tisk. After smacking his mouth, Lu Zemo also cautiously approached this huge tusked wild boar. And in the next moment, click, click, just hearing one crisp sound after another, Lu Zemo opened his mouth and gnawed the flesh and blood of the tusked wild boar. Ding, you are eating the level 10 tusked wild boar king. Experience plus 200. Ding, you are eating the level 10 tusked wild boar king. Experience plus 200. Ding, you are eating the level 10 tusked wild boar king. Experience plus 200. Amidst the continuous prompts, Lu Zemo's experience bar continued to rise. Until the next moment, a wave of heat surged deep in Lu Zemo's body. This is evolution. Evolution towards level 7. Strength, agility, and physique began to grow slowly. However, I don't know if it's because of the tusk boar's rough skin and thick flesh, but Lu Zemo's physique has actually increased by 1.5%. The growth of attributes will also increase differently depending on my prey. While whispering softly, Lu Zemo also discovered this small detail. If that's the case, then in the future, if he wants to increase his physical fitness, he will need to hunt such wild boars frequently. With a smile in his heart, Lu Zemo also looked forward to it. However, at the next moment, a scene that shocked Lu Zemo happened. Just because, as he ate, his experience bar was still growing rapidly. Moreover, what was even more terrifying was that a clear line of text gradually appeared in front of his eyes. Ding, when you ate the 10th level Wild Boar King, you acquired a rare skill, Savage Charge. Would you like to learn it? Savage Charge, a terrifying charge that consumes half of your physical strength. While charging, your strength will be temporarily doubled, and your speed will be greatly increased. Physique requires 20 points. Watching quietly, Lu Zemo's pupils couldn't help but shrink. Skill. This should be a skill unique to the Fang Boar King. Unexpectedly, he would acquire this skill because of eating. Is it possible for every player? Or, only he can? However, now, it seems that it is not the time to care about this. Call. Taking a deep breath, Lu Zemo also focused on his physique. Before, his constitution was 18. When he reached level 7, his constitution reached 19.5. Although, now, his experience bar is still growing due to his eating. But it's clear that this isn't enough for him to evolve again. In other words, he wants to learn Savage Charge, but his physical fitness seems not enough. Therefore, at this time, the role of evolution points appears. I want to strengthen my body. Suddenly muttering, Lu Zemo also decided to spend 1,000 evolution points to strengthen his body. And this is the power of evolutionary points. It can strengthen the body and also strengthen the minions. You can even strengthen your abilities. However, strengthening the body requires 1000 evolution points. Therefore, during this period, Luzimo has also been slowly accumulating. Until now, he already has 1200 evolution points. Now, he also decided to spend 1000 evolution points to strengthen his body. Boom, boom, boom. A sudden roar, like a surging river, suddenly erupted deep in Luzimo's body. Feel carefully that one torrent of energy is constantly transforming Luzimo's body. Vaguely, Luzimo felt that his body was harder. Even the body is more powerful. But that's not all. It can be seen with the naked eye that his body is growing again. Even the tiny burrs all over his body are sharper, like sharp needles, standing upright. At this time, if you pay attention to Luzimo's property panel, you can definitely find that his physique, strength, and agility have all increased to a certain extent. Race: Small Spider Scythe Spider. Level: 7. Evolution points: 200. 4 dimensions: Strength: 16, Agility: 27, Constitution: 24, Spirit: 12. Each attribute for a normal person is 10. Every time you advance, each attribute will double. And with every level improvement, strength, agility, and physique will increase differently. The more powerful the race, the more terrifying the growth of each attribute will be. Talents: Killing Evolution, Adaptability. Skill: God level Silk Spinning, able to spin out silk threads. Sickle Slash: a slash like a sickle, which can greatly increase the power of the slash. Burrs that can stand up all over the body in an instant, like steel needles, piercing the enemy. Looking at the current attribute panel quietly, Luzimo was also slightly startled. This is the whole body strengthening of the evolutionary point. Strength, agility, and constitution all increased by 5 points. And, more importantly, he also has a glitch skill. Able to control the hair all over the body to stand up in an instant. With a thought, Luzimo also controlled the black hair on his body. One after another, they slowly stood up. Looking from a distance, Luzimo looks much more sinister. Like a little hedgehog, extremely ferocious. However, this glitch skill is a good defensive ability. Fighting at close quarters is very good. It's just that it's not important. What really matters is the ability of the Tusk Boar King, Brutal Charge. I want to learn Brutal Charging. As soon as he finished speaking, Luzimo felt countless information pouring into his mind. At the same time, streams of blood-colored energy surged out from the depths of the Tusk Wild Boar King's body and surged toward Luzimo's body. This energy is very strange. It actually didn't fit into Luzimo's limbs. Instead, it lingered around Luzimo, and then gradually disappeared. Just, the next moment. Savage Charge. During the sudden murmur, Luzimo suddenly felt his body shake, and the hidden blood-colored energy surged up instantly, wrapping around Luzimo's entire body. Boom, boom, boom. The blood seemed to be boiling. An extremely hot feeling also rose deep in Luzimo's body. At this time, if you look at Luzimo, you will be surprised to find that he is a black spider the size of a football, with a red light all over his body, and his body has expanded slightly. Immediately afterwards, boom, with a loud noise, his entire body turned into a bloody red light and rushed towards the distance. Wherever it passes, waves of dust rise. Even the boulder blocking the way was shattered. And this is the Savage Charge unique to the Fang Boar King. It consumes less than half of the physical strength, doubles the strength, and greatly increases the speed. A perfect escape skill. Yes, the magic escape technique. Luzimo will not use this skill for offensive purposes. This, isn't there no return. It is still practical to escape for one's life. Moreover, he is already good at speed, and when he activates this ability, his speed is even more exaggerated. Just perfect for escaping. As for the Tusk Boar King, he is strong and large. It is difficult to escape with this ability. The better option is to fight for his life. And this is understandable when you think about it. The power of the Tusked Boar King is already terrifying. If it were doubled, it would be at least 40 or 50 points. Such terrifying power pouring out, coupled with his huge body, is enough to crack mountains and crack rocks. But this little spider is different. His strength is only 16, Double it and it will be 32. And, more importantly, he is small in size and is far less terrifying than the tusk boar king when he rushes into it. So, this ability, which is best for Luzimo, is not offensive. But, run away. In other words, Luzimo has another life-saving trump card. Chapter 11. Ho. Panting slightly, Luzimo was also a little tired. Is this just consuming half of your physical strength? It feels like Luzimo's 1,000-meter robe in his previous life. In his previous life, his physique was not very good. After running 1,000 meters, I felt exhausted. Very scary. But now, a skill actually allows him to taste the same feeling as in his previous life. Sure enough, this can only be used as a life-saving trump card. With a sigh in his heart, Luzimo also knew that this was definitely not a skill that could be commonly used. After using this skill, fighting monsters is probably the same as seeking death. However, I have to say that this skill is very terrifying. Slowly turning around and looking at the endless ravine, Luzimo's pupils also shrank. This was the mess left behind by his brutal charge. Between the 6 legs, the ground was torn apart. Wherever it passed, everything exploded. Even trees and boulders can't stop him in the slightest. Tisk tisk. After smacking his mouth, Luzimo also realized how terrifying this ability was. And now, he just has to adapt to this ability, and at the same time, he has to adapt to his now greatly strengthened body. Time passed slowly, and half a month passed in the blink of an eye. And in this little half month, Luzimo's growth became more and more terrifying. As of now, he is already at level 9. What is the concept of level 9? Except for spirit and stability, his other average attributes are close to 25. The most exaggerated agility is as high as 31. Such high agility makes Luzimo's current speed reach an inhuman level. Of course, his size has also increased to a certain extent. Now, looking from a distance, he might be the size of a basketball. The sickle feet are like sickles, shining with a cold light. The remaining 6 legs supported his entire body. And those 8 compound eyes flickered on and off, making him look extremely vicious. One look at it makes one shudder. Taking a deep breath, Luzimo is also satisfied with his current growth. When it comes to growth rate, he is probably the best among all players. The reason why I know this is because Luzimo often browses chat channels. In various chat channels, he has a very deep understanding of this world. For example, some monsters are strong and some are weak. Weaker monsters, like them. But powerful monsters have the power to destroy heaven and earth. Possessing unimaginable power. According to a player's description, he seemed to have seen a giant dragon. Yes, dragon. The mythical flame dragon. Gold-like flames flowed all over his body, and his pupils were fierce. A dragon roar shattered the clouds. Its terrifying high temperature can be felt even from thousands of meters away. Suddenly, the air was ignited. And that is the most powerful existence that stands at the apex of monsters, the giant dragon. A true predator at the top of the food chain. In this way, you can also imagine how terrifying this world is, even existences such as giant dragons exist. And that's not all. Luzimo even discovered from the chat channel that some players were not born yet. Yes, no birth. According to the description, this guy seems to be inside an egg. Although he is conscious, he is unable to move. However, listening to this player's description, the other players, including Luzimo, couldn't help but tremble in their hearts. Just because they are no longer newcomers to this world. Being able to live in this world for more than a month, they have more or less knowledge of this world. As of now, he has not been born yet, but he can continue to practice and become stronger in the eggshell. This is probably only the legendary, high-level monster. In other words, some people are born at a pinnacle that ordinary people cannot imagine. It's just that I can't envy this. Moreover, there is another thing that is worth celebrating, that is, this kind of existence has not been born yet, giving ordinary players a buffer period. Otherwise, Luzimo will be scolded. There is such a big gap in births, so what a joke. He was born nothing more than a spider. Someone was born, but it was a so-called high-level monster, maybe even a legendary dragon. It's because a person can't be mentally balanced. It's just a pity. Inequality has always existed. Just like in previous lives, what if someone is born with a destination that ordinary people cannot reach in their lifetime? So, keep your mind at ease. Moreover, another point worth mentioning is that now, most players can only grow up to 3 or 4 levels. Even those who grow faster are only at level 5 or 6. A monster like Luzimo, who has reached level 9 in just 1 month, is absolutely terrifying. At least, Luzimo has never seen a monster that grows faster than him. However, this is understandable when you think about it. Other players need to keep fighting, then recuperate, and then rest. But Luzimo is different. He has god-level spider silk, which gives him a unique advantage in hunting. Moreover, in addition to deliberately honing his melee abilities, he mostly weaves cobwebs and waits for the enemy. The rest of them killed at most a dozen monsters in a month. But Luzimo, this month, he killed 40 or 50 monsters at least. This harvesting efficiency is completely different. Therefore, except for players who started at a relatively high level, it is difficult for other players to grow faster than Luzimo. For example, the giant python starts with a constitution of 40 and a strength of 30. Although I don't know what level he is now, it is still difficult for Luzimo to compete with that player. In terms of growth rate alone, I should be ranked among the best among many players. In terms of strength, I guess it's not at the top level. Of course, if you add the god-level spider silk, I won't be able to fight even that giant python. Continuous analysis and summary are necessary for growth. However, I have to say that the chat channel is a good thing. It greatly broadened Luzimo's knowledge. Moreover, it also gave Luzimo the possibility of comparison. If there was no chat channel, Luzimo would probably still think of himself as a diamondback spider. But now, it seems that he is not good at it. At least, the growth rate is on the front line. Give me some more time, I will definitely be able to surpass everything. With great ambition in his heart, Luzimo was also a little excited. Until then, though, knitting. He wants to weave the entire canyon into a huge network. From now on, this canyon will be called Pansy Valley. His own hunting paradise. It's just a pity there are no more 7 familiar spider spirits. Well, with a sigh, Luzimo also has hope, accompanied by 7 spider sisters. Those 7 spider sisters were very affectionate and righteous. Although they wanted to eat Tang Monk's flesh, they were not bad to their senior brothers. And if he, Luzimo, had 7 spider sisters to help him hunt, his growth rate would probably increase again. As for the other sisters, sorry, Luzimo doesn't trust me. In the current Luzimo's view, the only ones that can be considered akin now are spiders. Moreover, spiders are not necessarily reliable. After all, spiders are capable of cannibalism. So, in this world, you still have to be alone and can only rely on yourself. As for the rest, it's better to just think about it. However, at this moment, as if he had lost his mind, Luzimo was also startled. If he remembers well, offline meetings seem to be quite popular in regional chat channels recently. They even came up with some team-building stuff. Can you imagine? A mouse and a snake team up. And wolf and rabbit, team up. Forehead. During a period of silence, the corner of Luzimo's eyes twitched fiercely. Why, after thinking about it over and over again, does it seem unreliable? If this comes to a critical moment, not to mention betraying the other party, but a disaster is imminent, and we will fly separately. Well, with a sigh, Luzimo didn't want to think too much. Compared with these, it is better to take care of yourself. The most important thing now is to hit level 10. While murmuring softly, Luzimo looked at the experience bar with a burning gaze. Level 10 is a hurdle. I heard that at level 10, you are the king among ordinary monsters. For humans and even other races, level 10 is considered the threshold for a professional. At this level, both monsters and other races will awaken their unique innate abilities. Yes, natural ability. A terrifying ability that far exceeds conventional capabilities. Just like the savage charge of the tusked wild boar king, it is by no means an ordinary skill. In a short period of time, the strength is doubled and the speed is skyrocketed. This is such a *king amazing skill. And this should be the innate ability of the level 10 tusked wild boar king. Therefore, Luzimo looked at the experience bar with particularly intense eyes. Now, he is only one step away from level 10. As night falls, the hazy moonlight shines, covering the earth and even the canyon with a faint moonlight. At this moment, in a corner of the mountain not far from Luzimo, a wild wolf that was much larger than an ordinary wild wolf was huddled in the corner alone, screaming. Like a trembling child, his body could not stop trembling. In his previous life, he was just an ordinary fat man. But who would have thought that he would come to a different world and become a green wolf? Fortunately, most people around the world were reborn, and he felt a little at peace. However, just when he discovered that the green wolf he had reborn was very powerful and began to think that he was the destined protagonist of another world, reality gave him a heavy blow. A very scary monster was staring at him. It tore apart his defense in a short time and severely injured him. Until now, one of his eyes was dripping with blood. The unimaginable pain made his body tremble uncontrollably. Wait for me, I will definitely kill you. Amidst the voice full of resentment, the green wolf also dragged its shaky body towards the foot of the mountain. Nowadays, the depths of the mountains are too dangerous. He was hit hard again. So, leaving is the only option. However, not long after, looking at a forested canyon not far away that looked like a giant beast opening its mouth, a flash of fear flashed deep in the eyes of this green wolf. For some reason, an extremely palpitating feeling suddenly appeared in his heart. But at this moment, boom, along with a terrifying roar, countless colorful elements began to gather, rotate, and rise in the center of the canyon like a storm. This is. The blue wolf's eyes widened, and a blazing heat flashed in the depths of the blue wolf's eyes. Advanced. Yes, advanced. Moreover, looking at this momentum, it is not an ordinary monster advancement. Gulu. Subconsciously swallowing his saliva, the green wolf was also excited. Monsters that are in the process of advancing are most taboo to disturb. Moreover, now is also when he is at his weakest. If he could hunt this monster, he might be able to go one step further. At that time, he could also look for that big enemy to take revenge. With this thought in mind, the green wolf also tried its best to suppress its aura and slowly approached the depths of the canyon. And not long after, this green wolf saw. I saw a huge white cocoon in the deepest part of the canyon. This giant cocoon is as big as a basketball. A hazy halo flashed around him. Countless elements, as if sensing something, poured into the white cocoon. However, what shocked the green wolf was that around the giant cocoon, countless white spider webs were densely packed, turning the entire canyon into a spider web-like world. You know, this is a canyon. Evergreen all year round, as green as ever. But now, a radius of several hundred meters is covered with white spider webs. Many trees in the web world are withered, and countless white spider silks are flashing in the air. And just above these spider webs, there are bird monsters, screaming. There are also rabbits, screaming. There is even a giant python that is constantly struggling. Hiss. Taking a breath of cold air, the green wolf couldn't help but be shocked. This is too terrible. What kind of magic spider is hidden here that can actually weave such a terrifying spider web? With this thought in mind, he also said in shock on the regional channel. Lone green wolf. Oh my god, do you know what I saw nearby? I saw a world of white dead spider webs. Squirrel girl. What is that? Monty Python King. Don't talk too much, we only have 3 chances to speak a day. The lone green wolf. I don't know. But it's a bit scary, and more importantly, the magic spider here seems to be advancing. Brothers, I feel like my chance has come. Python King. Oh my god, you feel so good. You can also encounter advanced monsters, invincible, this luck, indeed the child of destiny, hurry up, this time you take off. Squirrel girl. I'm envious too. Sentence after sentence, but it was the regional channel, the most talkative of the 3, you said something and I said something. And this green wolf is the one Luzimo saw on the regional channel. However, he didn't expect that he would actually find Luzimo's Pansy Valley. However, at this moment, as if he had discovered something, the green wolf's pupils shrank sharply. I saw that on one side of the canyon, there were actually the characters, Jung, one after another, imprinted on the rock wall. This is. Suddenly startled, the green wolf also fell silent. This seems to be a text from a previous life, right? Moreover, it seems to be used to count days. So, this guy is a player. During the rare silence, the Blue Wolf King's eyes couldn't stop flashing. However, he did not say this news on the regional channel. Regional channel, casual chat. But in reality, meeting players is different from chatting. And, most importantly, this guy is still advancing. Cooperation or confrontation. Suddenly, Qing Lang also remembered the original subtitle reminder, and also thought of the more important sentence, there is no true friendship. Call. Taking a deep breath, Qing Lang no longer hesitated. Compared with others, oneself is more important. You know, he is already at level 8. After devouring this demon spider, it is very likely that he will be able to skip level 9 and sprint directly to level 10. There was no way he wouldn't be tempted by such an opportunity. And, one more thing, he is now blind in one eye. But he heard that every time he reaches level 10, there will be an opportunity for baptism. That was a reinvention. It is also a new life. It is very likely that he will take this opportunity to treat his own eyes. So, do not blame me. If you want to blame it, just blame your bad luck. A hint of cruelty flashed in the depths of his eyes, and the green wolf slowly opened its mouth. Boom! Along with a roar, a ball of cyan light visible to the naked eye actually appeared in his mouth. Wind Blade, Green Wolf's most terrifying ability. It can gather wind elements and spit out a half-meter-long wind blade from its mouth, which can tear everything in its path. This ability may not be noticeable on high-level monsters. But among low-level monsters, they are particularly terrifying. Especially the green wolf, also known as the wind wolf, often travels in groups. Dozens of wind wolves spit out wind blades in unison, enough to wipe out half of the forest. Therefore, the wind wolves are also the group of monsters that most existences are least willing to face. Terrible and horrifying. It's suffocating. And now, he opened his mouth and gathered the wind blades. The green wolf's eyes were also particularly cold. Same player. Are we both blue star people? What is that? In the face of interests, brothers can stab each other. Not to mention this kind of stranger. Roar. Amidst the low howl of the wolf, a half-meter-long wind blade was seen, ruthlessly tearing the air apart and flying towards the giant cocoon deep in the canyon. However, the next moment, the green wolf's eyes froze. What? Amid the subconscious exclamation, Qing Lang was also stunned. Just because he was able to cut through even trees with a wind blade, yet he actually stopped in front of a dense spider web. Moreover, it was the first spider web. Forehead. After a while of silence, Qing Lang was also confused. Are you kidding me? How could a mere spider web block his wind blade? Somewhat hard to accept, the green wolf opened its mouth again and spit out a wind blade towards the spider web in the distance. Shua! Along with the sound of breaking through the air, a wind blade flew out again. But the next moment, this wind blade was still in front of the spider web and stopped abruptly. Still the same as before. But this green wolf was completely dumbfounded. For some reason, an extremely bad feeling emerged in his heart. But at this time, it seemed that I felt something. Shua, shua, in the continuous piercings of the sky, several crystalline spider threads that were difficult to find with the naked eye actually cut through the night sky and attacked towards the green wolf. Before the green wolf could react, there was a sharp, stab, sound, and the green wolf's entire body was penetrated. However, it's not terrible. What's really scary is, countless crystal clear spider threads shot through the air, like a giant net, covering the green wolf, directly and firmly nailed to the ground. Oh, OOW. The shrill howls of wolves kept echoing in the night sky, but they couldn't make any waves. Some are just as dead and silent as ever. And despair. Yes, despair. This green wolf player is completely desperate. At this moment, he already understood that he had encountered an existence that was difficult to provoke. This is no ordinary player. It's that kind of extremely terrifying existence that stands at the top of many players. Gulu. Subconsciously swallowing, the green wolf kept growling. He even started calling for help on the regional channel. The lone green wolf. Brothers, help me, I provoked a great boss, and now I am tied up by its spider silk. Please. Squirrel sister. Python king. Don't tell me, the advanced monster you are talking about is the player. Qing Lang wanted to answer, but looking at the number of regional chats that were already 0, Qing Lang was also a little desperate. Now, he can only hope that this big boss wakes up and finds nothing. Then, for the sake of fellow Blue Star people, let him go. But at this time, inside the giant cocoon. This is level 10. Amid the sudden murmur, Lou Zemo also felt an indescribable power surging around him. That's magic. The magic flowing through his body. And this is also a sign of a level 10 monster. They are powerful enough to sense the magic power of their bodies and even use it. And what is the use of magic power? Whether it is improving physical fitness or strengthening skills, it is good. Just like now, with the magic power surging, Lou Zemo's sickle feet actually glowed with a faint light. That's the real ghost. It is also the dark magic that uniquely belongs to Lou Zemo. He is a dark monster. Its magic power is extremely corrosive and can corrode most things. But that's not all. When he reached level 10, Lou Zemo finally understood the power of his system. It was the system that gave him a big gift package for newbies, God level enhancement. The value of this system is to help Lou Zemo break the shackles. For example, when Lou Zemo has learned an ability at full level and it is difficult to make further progress, he can rely on this system to break the shackles and make further progress. Like the brutal collision he has mastered now. When it is raised to the limit, Lou Zemo can completely upgrade it again. At that time, the power of the brutal collision will be even more terrifying. Even the consumption is smaller. A very common skill, in his hands, is likely to continue to evolve and eventually become a magical skill in the eyes of other players and even creatures. And this is the horror of Lou Zemo's system. It is worth mentioning here that the evolution point also has similar abilities. But there are limits to the improvement of evolutionary points. For example, an ordinary skill can only be upgraded to the limit of the ordinary skill by using evolution points. It is impossible to transform an ordinary skill into a divine skill. Moreover, with every improvement, the demand for evolution points doubles. With these evolutionary points, wouldn't it be good to strengthen the body? You must know that the real meaning of the existence of evolutionary points is to continuously strengthen the body and develop more abilities. Use evolution points to strengthen the shell, and the repeatedly strengthened shell will most likely be extended to a new skill, such as anti-armor. Therefore, from this point of view, you can imagine how terrible Lou Zemo's system is. This is a golden finger in the true sense. However, at this time, Lou Zemo's eyes narrowed slightly as he looked at each skill after another. The current proficiency level of brutal collision is 8 points. If he wants to go further, his proficiency level must reach 100. In other words, after reaching the full proficiency of this skill, Lou Zemo does not need to upgrade his evolution points at all. You can improve this skill by relying directly on the system. Moreover, Savage Clash is likely to complete a true transformation due to his repeated improvements. This is the most terrifying thing. In this way, I can use all my evolution points to strengthen my body. While whispering softly, Lou Zemo also had plans for the future. And this should be a true guarantee for him to reach the top in the future. After all, there are countless players who are more talented and better than him. And Lou Zemo never thinks that he is superior to others. But with this system, it's different. In the future, he will acquire all kinds of magical skills. So, how could he not be powerful? The corner of his mouth curled up slightly. Lou Zemo was also satisfied with this system. This system can greatly increase his growth rate and combat power. However, at this moment, as if he thought of something, Lou Zemo also looked at his attribute panel. When he reached level 10, he also awakened a natural ability. Race: Small Spider Scythe Spider. Level: 10. Evolution points: 1600. 4 dimensions: Strength: 22, Agility: 32, Constitution: 29, Spirit: 12. Each attribute for a normal person is 10. Talents: Killing Evolution, Adaptability. Innate Skill: Puppet Thread LV1, able to spread spider threads all over other people's bodies, thereby controlling them silently. Skill: Magic Manipulation LV1, able to control the magic power in the body and temporarily strengthen the body. God level Silk Spinning, God level, able to spin out silk threads. Sickle LV1, a slash like a sickle, which can greatly increase the power of the slash. Burrs LV1, the burrs that can stand up all over the body in an instant, like steel needles, can hurt the enemy. Watching quietly, Lou Zemo's eyes were also focused on his innate ability, the puppet line. Just by hearing its name, you can tell how terrifying this ability is. Ability to silently manipulate others. Moreover, what is even more frightening is that this ability can continue to grow. Nowadays, with control, it is possible to capture silk threads. But as it continues to upgrade, this ability will become more terrifying and weirder. According to Lou Zemo's guess, if this ability transforms into a god level 1, then Lou Zemo is very likely to completely control a creature silently. Tisk tisk. Lou Zemo smacked his mouth and couldn't help but clicked his tongue. What is worth mentioning here is that innate abilities are innate abilities and talents. The proficiency of this ability is half of the ordinary ability. How to say? For example, a level 1 Kamazu requires 100 proficiency points to upgrade to level 2. Then the natural ability, puppetry, to upgrade to level 2, only requires 50 proficiency. This was very scary in the early stages. And in the later stage, it is even more fatal. Just because the improvement of ability is a 10-fold growth system. LV1 level ability, to upgrade to LV2, 100 proficiency is required. LV2 level ability, to upgrade to LV3, 1000 proficiency is required. Level 3 abilities, to upgrade to level 4, 10,000 proficiency levels are required. In the end, raising LV8 to LV9 requires 1 billion proficiency levels. To some extent, this is impossible to do. Fortunately, there are some treasures in this world that can greatly improve proficiency. Level LV9 and above are the so-called god-level skills. In this way, it is also conceivable how terrifying it is for Lou Zemo to have god-level abilities just at the beginning. God-level abilities and power are not necessarily terrifying. But it definitely represents infinite possibilities. And unimaginable potential. Just like Lou Zemo's spider silk, if it can be continuously developed, all kinds of shocking abilities will emerge. At present, Lou Zemo wants many development methods. It's just a pity that the current Lou Zemo is not strong enough and can't spit out too much spider silk, so that this ability is covered in dust. However, it's not a big problem. As long as Lou Zemo keeps getting stronger, this god-level ability will become more and more terrifying. Puppet thread. While muttering softly, Lou Zemo also looked at several spider threads in the air. They are crystal clear, but are thinner and harder to detect than ordinary spider silk. Moreover, they also have the strange ability to perfectly attach to the body of a living creature and then affect the body of the living creature. This is the puppet line. With a smile in his heart, Lou Zemo is also looking forward to this ability and blooming his own colors. And now, it's time to get out. Lifting his sickle, Lou Zemo also tore apart the huge white cocoon that wrapped him. However, at this moment, Lou Zemo's heart sank. He felt it. Feel the subtleties of the spider web. Someone touched its cobweb. Moreover, it is not just an ordinary touch. It is an attack in the true sense of the word. It's this guy. Suddenly muttering, Lou Zemo also looked at the giant green wolf lying on the ground at the entrance of the canyon. Now, this green wolf was in a miserable state, bound to the earth by countless spider silks. There were bloodstains all over his body. Faintly visible, strands of blood dripped out. It seems that this guy is struggling a lot. However, what surprised Lou Zemo was that this guy's face showed human grievance and bitterness. However, before Lou Zemo could speak, the guy seemed to notice something and suddenly raised his head, his eyes bursting with a strange look. Ouch! Ouch! In the midst of an excited roar, the green wolf even raised its movable claws and kept paddling on the ground. Looking carefully, it turned out to be characters that looked like words. A player. Suddenly muttering, Lou Zemo also recognized the identity of this guy. Players indeed. Blue Star's text. Moreover, they are still written in the same country. But, it's a pity. Lou Zemo has noticed 2 slash marks on the spider web. Very heavy cuts. If it weren't for Lou Zemo's spider silk, which has been strengthened, it would be difficult to shine. This cobweb is probably already broken. Moreover, at that time, his advancement might also fall short. So, what if we are both players? Lou Zemo doesn't think he is a saint. With a grin on his lips, a hint of cruelty arose. Lou Zemo also decided to try his new ability. However, before that, Kamazu lightly lifted the room. Countless threads wrapped around the giant cyan wolf were also loosened one after another. Ouch, ouch, he roared repeatedly, full of excitement and joy. At this time, the giant cyan wolf was also on the ground for the first time, and the book read. Thank you, thank you. I really just passed by accidentally. I don't want to disturb the boss. Please form a team, please form a team. With that said, this giant cyan wolf continued. Boss, are you a *** person? Quote. There was a moment of silence, and the only person who responded to the green wolf was the basketball-sized spider in the distance, as cold as ever. It's obviously a hot summer day. But for some reason, this green wolf felt a little cold. Behind the back, the cold air rushed up even more. Boss, I really don't mean to disturb. I'm leaving now, I'm leaving now. Humanely raising his paws and waving his hands, Green Wolf also decided to run away first. Terrible. It's really terrible. Obviously this spider is only the size of a basketball. But that aura was the most terrifying Ching Lang had ever seen. Even the Wind Wolf King he had seen was not so terrifying. Especially those sickle-like feet, like the coldest blade, with wisps of ghostly light flowing around, which is breathtaking. And those eyes, one after another. 8 of them, staring. It's even more heart-wrenching. This is definitely the scariest player I have ever seen. While sighing again, the giant green wolf also shrank its neck and slowly moved towards the exit of the canyon. However, at the next moment, the green wolf's expression froze. What's wrong? In the sudden exclamation, Ching Lang also discovered that his body was unable to move. It's like being imprisoned by something. At this time, if he slowly raised his eyes, he could suddenly find that one after another invisible threads were all over his body. The source of these threads lies between Lu Zimo's feet. Puppet thread. First spread dozens of threads in the air, and then quietly sink into the opponent's body to control their body movements. This is a very terrifying ability. However, it cannot control the will of others. Can only simply control body movements. Like now, Lu Zimo, who is somewhat unskilled, is obviously a little stiff when controlling it. Even though the 8 legs move together, the body of this green wolf gives people an extremely unnatural feeling. Ouch, ouch. Amid the anxious and angry roar, the green wolf also noticed something strange about his body. But don't wait for more roars from him. Shua, shua. Another silk thread penetrated his mouth with a squeak sound, and his mouth was simply sewn shut. I hate noise. With a sneer, Lu Zimo also began to try this new ability. Not bad, although, the control is very stiff. But looking at the green wolf not far away, Lu Zimo was also satisfied with his random movements. He really became a puppet in his hands. There is no resistance. The corners of his mouth were slightly raised, and Lu Zimo also noticed a hint of imperceptible resentment flashing deep in the blue wolf's eyes. Tisk tisk. After smacking his mouth, Lu Zimo didn't want to continue playing with this guy. He doesn't like to interact with players. After all, players are all smarter. If you are not careful, something may happen. Moreover, he also has such a thing as a chat channel. What if he said something before he died? I'm afraid there might be some trouble. So, with a hint of cruelty flashing deep in his eyes, Lu Zimo also controlled the green wolf to accelerate violently. Tap, step, step. Charging at extremely high speed, he rushed towards Lu Zimo. Accompanied by this, the sickle in Lu Zimo's hand was raised high. No, his heart roared, but he didn't wait for this green wolf to say anything more. He had already seen half of his body, standing quietly on the spot. That's his body, a headless wolf body. The blood flows like a fountain. The earth is dyed red. And his consciousness slowly blurred until it completely disappeared. Cut in half. No pain. Ding, you have killed a player. Chinglang, evolution points plus 400. Suddenly, words appeared in front of Lu Zimo's eyes, which made Lu Zimo slightly startled. Kill players. Was it possible to capture so many evolution points? Is this encouraging players to behead? Somewhat stunned, Lu Zimo also pulled his consciousness to the chat channel, searching for similar information. However, no more than accidents, there is very little caution in this category, pitifully little. And this, too, who would reveal that he had killed other players? In the previous life, this was equivalent to killing someone. So, Shaking his head and suppressing the doubts in his heart, Lu Zimo was also preparing to exit the chat channel. However, at the next moment, his pupils suddenly shrank. Just because, at this time, he actually saw these few words in the regional chat channel. The lone green wolf. This is a spider boss. It's so scary. The Python King. I feel that he is scarier than you. When I saw him, my legs became weak. The lone green wolf. What's going on? I can't move my body. What does this spider boss want to do? Hey, he can't control my body. Python King. What's going on? Squirrel sister. What happened? The lone green wolf. No, he wants to kill. The words stopped suddenly, causing the entire regional channel to fall silent. During the long silence, 1,000 players in the regional channel all saw Qing Lang, who was the most active in the regional chat channel, and his avatar gradually dimmed. Died. Green Wolf is dead. Just now, he was laughing and saying, I met the big boss, and the big boss even forgave him for his crime of disrespect. But at this moment, he was. Quote. In the rare silence, many players couldn't help but feel nervous. A player just died. Moreover, it seems that he still died at the hands of other players. Python King. Why do you want to kill him? We are all Blue Star people, shouldn't we share the same hatred? During the sudden questioning, the Python King, a player who started with a constitution of 40 and a strength of 30, also became angry. He is generous, and this green wolf usually flirts with others in the group. Therefore, he has always regarded this little guy as his younger brother. Even, they are planning to meet offline for a period of time. But now, his little brother is so dead. Angry. The unimaginable anger made the Python King's face look gloomy and scary. Hiss. During the sudden roar, far away, deep in the mountain, a 20-meter-long rock python that looked like it was transformed into granite was roaring to the sky. Its terrifying roar shook the night sky. Along with this, the surroundings seemed to be experiencing a small earthquake. The ground began to tremble. But Lu Zimo didn't pay any attention to this. He even didn't respond to the Python King's words. He knew that these words were asked by the Python King to question him. But is it necessary to answer? In this world of natural selection, survival of the fittest. This green wolf dared to attack him, so he would have to suffer the consequences. In other words, there is a right way to take death. However, what Lu Zimo didn't expect was that this guy's regional channel had some connection with the Python King and others. These guys, are they going to form a team, or even create some kind of power organization, such as a guild or something? Suddenly murmuring, Lu Zimo was also thoughtful. It is indeed possible. Chat channel. Regional chat channels, in particular, offer all this possibility. As long as there is a strong enough player who is willing to protect others, then the prototype of a force is likely to emerge. And now, Monty Python has this trend. Only, his eyes narrowed slightly, and Lu Zimo also suppressed his thoughts. These have nothing to do with him. The strong are all alone, and only the weak stay together. And, more importantly, it is difficult for Lu Zimo to trust these players. Maybe, given the opportunity, they will stab you in the back. This is not the past life, a world with legal constraints. In today's world, without the shackles of the law, the moral starry sky above our heads is no longer enough to check and balance the actions of the world. Therefore, all betrayals are possible. But Lu Zimo doesn't want to get involved in these right and wrong. With a smile in his heart, Lu Zimo also fulfilled the so-called humanitarian responsibility and buried the green wolf corpse. He doesn't want to eat the player's corpse. A little experience, no big deal. And this is Lu Zimo's best kindness. Time passed slowly, and it was already midnight in a blink of an eye. At this time, Lu Zimo also adapted to his current body. Powerful. It's really powerful. Especially the dark magic power is beyond Lu Zimo's imagination. Just like now, amid the surge of magic power, Lu Zimo's sickle feet actually glowed with a dark, ink-like glow. Stab it. In the sudden crisp sound, a huge boulder was as fragile as a piece of paper, easily torn apart. And the incision seemed to be corroded, causing the pupils to shrink. This is dark magic. Among the various elements, the most lethal one. It may not have the fiery explosion of fire attribute magic power. Perhaps, there is no extreme cold and desolate nature without the magic power of ice. But it's even more terrible than that. Simply because dark magic can ignore some defenses and directly erode the enemy's body. This is equivalent to real harm. In this way, we can also imagine the terrifying power of Luzimo's dark magic. It's just a pity that Luzimo's current use of dark magic is only the simplest way of wrapping his limbs. As for the rest, sorry, he hasn't been developed yet. Well, with a sigh, Luzimo also knew that there was no hurry. Eat the food one bite at a time. You cannot become fat in one bite. But now, I can go out and explore. After all, his strength is already pretty good. Strength, agility, and constitution are all very high. It also has various abilities. There are also god-level spider silks. Now, Luzimo's combat power should be one of the best among low-level monsters. In this way, the risk of going out is reduced a lot. And, more importantly, this canyon no longer meets Luzimo's hunting needs. The corners of his mouth were slightly raised, and Luzimo was also looking forward to it. Looking forward to the outside world. I don't know what this world is like. In the sudden murmur, a black spider the size of a basketball climbed to a hilltop in the canyon, overlooking the mountains. Outside Pansy Valley, there is an endless forest. However, this forest is different from the previous life. The trees one after another cannot be named, they are exceptionally lush and even tall. Among them, there are many huge trees tens of meters high. What is the concept of tens of meters high? It's like one tall building after another. But this kind of very tall trees can be seen everywhere here. At first glance, it is extremely spectacular and even terrifying. However, it is a pity that such a spectacular forest is hidden in the thick white fog, making it difficult to see the whole picture. Moreover, what is even more terrifying is that from time to time, there are several low roars coming from this vast forest. Ah! Ow! Hoo! Ho! The roar was so terrifying that when Luzimo heard it from a distance, he couldn't help but feel guilty. However, fortunately, the roar was so far away that Luzimo thought he was hallucinating. Taking a deep breath and suppressing the horror in his heart, Luzimo also understood that it was the horror hidden deep in the mountains. It is also an existence that he cannot mess with now. I'm really looking forward to colliding with those guys in the future. With a chuckle, Luzimo was not afraid. Who doesn't have weak moments? Today, according to the world, he is still in his infancy. Haven't even reached the maturity stage yet. Moreover, he still has evolutionary points. As long as you are cautious, it is inevitable to become a strong person in the future. But now, all he has to do is grow and crawl forward. With a smile in his heart, Luzimo also tiptoed up a very huge tree. These trees are really big. Even though he is now the size of a basketball, when he climbs on these trees, he is as small as an insect in his previous life. And this provided the necessary guarantee for Luzimo's hiding place. Just like now, keep walking through the branches of trees. From time to time, a thread of spider silk would be spit out and shot towards a tree in the distance. Then, after pulling on the spider thread to make sure it was fixed, Luzimo's entire body swung down along the spider thread. It's like swinging through 1,000 atoms. But it was Luzimo who found the most suitable method of movement during this period of time. Not just extremely fast. Moreover, it comes without a trace and leaves without a trace, leaving no trace. However, at this time, if you pay attention to Luzimo's figure, you will definitely find that he is hanging upside down on the branch of a tree. Moreover, when moving, it is as easy as walking on flat ground. If this fell into the eyes of other people, their eyes would probably pop out. Just because this is equivalent to humans walking upside down under the ceiling. Very scary. But this is very normal for Luzimo. Because it is a spider, its 6 legs have extremely strong absorption capabilities and can walk anywhere. As a spider, even a monster spider, Luzimo must understand the various innate advantages of spiders. Has 8 legs. Although the 2 legs have been transformed into sickle legs as an offensive weapon, the remaining 6 legs are enough to allow Luzimo to move at high speeds. In addition, the spider's own absorption ability and the so-called spider sensor. These are all Luzimo needs to know. It's just a pity that Luzimo hasn't figured out the spider sense yet. He understood that his reflexes were much stronger than those of ordinary people. But it's hard to describe, or even feel. It seems like there is a layer of paper blocking. Sometimes, Lu Zimo wonders if he needs to use evolution points to strengthen his brain. However, in terms of strengthening the brain, there seems to be a lot of demand for evolution points. A full 2,000 evolution points are needed. And Lu Zimo, accumulated over time, now only has more than 1,700. Therefore, strengthening the brain needs to be put in the back. But now, the most important thing is hunting. With a grin on his face, Lu Zimo, who was speeding through the trees, also discovered his first prey in the forest. It's a rabbit. It's just that it's different from ordinary rabbits. This rabbit is obviously 2 times larger than the other rabbits. Moreover, there are flame-like lines all over the body. It looks like he is no ordinary rabbit. However, this does not affect Lu Zimo's hunting. Quietly, he groped the sky above this rabbit. Lu Zimo also quietly weaved spider silk under the cover of leaves. And the very next moment, shua, with a sound breaking through the air, a white spider web grew from small to large, shooting towards the rabbit not far away. Roar. The sudden low roar did not sound like a rabbit's cry. The rabbit with flame patterns also turned around immediately and opened its mouth. Boom. Amidst the sudden roar, a ball of flame spurted out from the rabbit's mouth. I wipe. With shock in his heart, Lu Zimo also felt a blazing heat, as if the air was on fire. Fortunately, the white spider web blocked the flames. Boom. When the spider web collided with this ball of flame, flames flew out all over the sky. However, fortunately, Lu Zimo's spider silk was a bit scary and was not damaged immediately. You know, the silk of ordinary spiders is most afraid of flames. But now, it seems that its spider silk's fire resistance is still good. So, the next moment, amidst a rapid and anxious neighing, this flame rabbit was also covered under Lu Zimo's spider web. It can even breathe fire. Sure enough, in this world, a rabbit cannot be underestimated. While whispering softly, Lu Zimo also shot out a spider web again, pinning the rabbit to the ground. His spider webs are very scary. There is something unique about restricting enemies. Just like now, under Lu Zimo's spider web, this flame rabbit kept struggling, but it was difficult to break free. In addition to traces of blood splattering, more flames are constantly pouring out from the spider web. At first glance, it is very strange. At this time, Lu Zimo slowly raised his sickle legs and jumped down from the height. Stab it! Along with the sound of breaking through the air, blood pillars half a meter high splashed into the sky. A rabbit was left alone, slowly falling into a pool of blood. Ding! You are eating level 6 flame rabbit, experience plus 60. Ding! You are eating level 6 flame rabbit, experience plus 60. Ding! You are eating level 6 flame rabbit, experience plus 60. Amid the prompts, half a rabbit poured into Lu Zimo's stomach. The taste is pretty good. Lu Zimo softly praised, and was also satisfied with the voluptuousness of this little rabbit. Not bad. Compared with the rabbit meat in the previous life, it is even more tender. It's just a pity, he can't breathe fire, so he can't roast this rabbit before eating it. However, now, even survival is difficult. I don't want those extravagant things. It is better to just hunt honestly and evolve. While Lu Zimo was simply eating, he also discovered the arrival of an uninvited guest. It seems that the strong smell of blood attracted it here. While murmuring softly, Lu Zimo also slowly raised his eyes. What he saw was a big snake 4 to 5 meters long. It is very green, a pair of snake eyes, cold and terrifying. Hiss. Amidst the constant neighing, the temperature in the air seemed to be dropping. And the very next moment, hiss, with a sudden neighing, the big snake bit towards Lu Zimo as if teleporting. Snort. With a cold snort, Lu Zimo also captured the movements of this big snake. However, he did not use spider web to counterattack immediately. Instead, his whole body jumped up. Compared with speed, he is not weaker than others. Just like now, shua. The speed was so fast that it was like pulling out an afterimage, and a black shadow actually jumped to a height of more than 10 meters. At the same time, the sickle was charging up, and Lu Zimo also raised the sickle fiercely and slashed it off with a single blow. Boom! With a roar, green snake scales splashed, and blood spurted out. However, for a moment, Lou Zemo's pupils shrank. In shock, Lou Zemo also felt a sharp pain in his body. CCC. Lou Zemo's belly was torn apart by the constant crunching sound. This was the splash of snake blood that hit him. Like oil boiling at high temperature, splashing. But it's several times more terrifying than that feeling. It actually corroded Lou Zemo's body, and Lou Zemo grimaced in pain. I know that the monsters in this world should not be underestimated. With a cry of surprise, Lou Zemo immediately shot out a piece of spider silk, which wrapped around the branch above and lifted his entire body up. The splashed snake blood is extremely poisonous. Who would have thought of this? Fortunately, I didn't prey on it immediately before, otherwise my mouth would be gone. After suppressing the shock in his heart, Lou Zemo calmed down. However, for some reason, an indescribable joy also grew in his heart. That's what's interesting. Injury, collision. This is the real battle that men long for. Suddenly he opened his mouth and looked down at the big snake waiting for him. Lou Zemo's 8 eyes were also flickering. There is a faint light flowing. At the same time, as the magic power surged, Lou Zemo's sickle feet also had a faint glow. Dark magic can greatly increase Kamazu's attack power. It is also able to ignore some defenses to a certain extent. Just now, the scales of this big snake withstood Lou Zemo's slash. But now, with a smile in his heart, Lou Zemo jumped down again, like a meteor falling from the sky, with his legs crossed. This time, he's going to kill him with one blow. But at this moment, hiss, as it neighed more and more terrifyingly, the big snake suddenly opened its mouth. Vaguely, a group of green light could be seen flashing in its throat. Using the spider thread, his body subconsciously rotated 180 degrees in midair, and Lou Zemo also narrowly avoided this ball of green light. But the big tree behind him was not so lucky. Zzzz. Amidst the constant sound of corrosion, a small hole half a meter deep appeared on the body of a big tree. Forehead. During a period of silence, Lou Zemo also felt a chill on his back, and a coldness ran straight into his heart. Good guy. Really good guy. This big snake seems a bit scary. You don't need long-range attacks to bully me. While cursing angrily, Lou Zemo did not use the spider silk. No need. Although this big snake is powerful, it is within Lou Zemo's tolerance. According to Lou Zemo's guess, this big snake is at least 7 or 8 levels. However, compared to rabbits and other monsters, it is better at hunting and attacking. So it just looks scary. However, this is not a big problem. His methods are enough to cope with it. Moreover, it is rare to encounter such an opponent, who can just perfect his close combat skills. Thinking of this, Lou Zemo's eyes narrowed. Next, it's his turn. With a smile in his heart, Lou Zemo jumped up from the sky again. However, this time, he did not jump straight towards the big snake. Instead, he kept going back and forth from one big tree to another. With Lou Zemo's current agility bonus of up to 30, Lou Zemo's speed is beyond imagination. Especially the big snake has poor eyesight. For a moment, it was difficult to capture Lou Zemo's position. And at this moment, die to me. Amidst the sudden violent shouting, Lou Zemo jumped down from behind the big snake and took the lead in attacking. The sickle in his hand was raised high. As the ghost light circulated, a terrifying murderous intention shrouded the big snake. Boom! In the sudden roar, the entire big snake flew out upside down under Lou Zemo's slash. At this time, if you pay attention, you will definitely be able to see a very huge wound on the big snake. Hiss! Amid the shrill wail, the big snake kept struggling on the ground. It was like a heartbreaking pain, spreading throughout the whole body. Even his body started to tremble. But at this moment, Lou Zemo was unyielding. The 6 legs moved continuously on the ground, and his entire body shot towards the big snake. Shua! Shua! One slash after another, Lou Zemo also targeted the 7 inches of the big snake. As the saying goes, if you hit a snake, it will hit you 7 inches. This world should be no exception. These 7 inches are equivalent to the heart of the snake. If you touch it, you will die. Therefore, Lou Zemo also attacked without hesitation. Bang! Bang! With the continuous collisions, the screams of this big snake became more and more shrill. Can't keep up with Lou Zemo's speed. Moreover, This big snake is still so huge. As a result, in Lu Zimo's eyes, he was like a living target, ready for him to attack. Even the occasional resistance and lashing of the snake's tail were in vain. Therefore, there must be only one way to wait for this big snake. That is, click. There was just a crisp sound, and half of Lu Zimo's sickle foot penetrated the big snake's 7 inches. Done. The corner of his mouth curled up slightly. Lu Zimo was also satisfied with this battle. Not bad. Strong enough. However, there are many shortcomings. For example, some of his attacks are obviously faster. Even, in his first slash, he was able to take the life of this big snake. However, it took him dozens of moves before he landed the fatal blow. It is not difficult to see that he is still a rookie. Being able to win is largely due to his attribute panel, which is far higher than that of Orochi. Strength, speed, not on the same level at all. How could this big snake be Lu Zimo's opponent? Only, at this time, Lu Zimo's eyes froze as he looked at the blue light screen in front of his eyes. Ding, you are suffering from severe poison, resistance to poison plus 0.2. Ding, you are suffering from severe poison, resistance to poison plus 0.2. Ding, you are suffering from severe poison, resistance to poison plus 0.2. The repeated reminders made Lu Zimo a little confused. And, more than that, there is actually some information in front. Ding, you are burning in flames. Fire resistance plus 0.1. This should be a reminder to resist the flames when preying on the flame rabbit. He didn't notice it at the time. But now, he sees. I was also a little confused. This is my talent, adaptability. Amidst the gasps, Lu Zimo also felt an insurmountable ecstasy. This talent, adaptability, seems a bit scary. It was actually able to easily improve his various resistances. Tisk tisk. After smacking his mouth, a picture appeared in Lu Zimo's mind. That's how terrifying he would be if he had all kinds of resistance points. Bathing in lava. This doesn't seem unimaginable. If it really happens one day, I'm afraid I will become a god. While whispering softly, Lu Zimo was looking forward to it. So, his talent is a bit scary. Moreover, it is not just ordinary horror. It is said that smaller animals have strong adaptability. I didn't expect that my adaptability would be so terrifying. I could easily adapt to various harsh environments and improve my own resistance. With a grin on his lips, Lu Zimo also knew that this talent was also a guarantee for his future strength. Chapter 21. Resistance, what is it? That is the ability to resist adverse factors. For things like resistance, the more, the better, and the stronger, the better. If each resistance can reach full value, I dare not say it is invincible, but this world should be more than enough to protect itself. Therefore, after understanding that one's own resistance can be continuously improved through natural adaptability, Lu Zimo also incorporated polishing resistance into his practice plan. Not only fire resistance, poison resistance, light cold resistance, corrosion resistance. I have to superimpose it. While muttering softly, Lu Zimo also noticed that there was an extra column in the lower right corner of his blue light screen. That's the resistance bar. Currently, fire resistance is 0.1. Poison resistance is 0.6. This is already pretty good. You know, this is just the beginning and it will take a long time. If he intends to increase his resistance, I believe it won't take long for his resistance to stack up. As for the horror of resistance, where is it most directly reflected? To put it simply, if Lu Zimo's fire resistance continues to stack up, then he will not be immune to fire, but his resistance to the power of fire will be greatly increased. Normally, a fireball that could melt him would probably only burn off a layer of skin if it fell on him. And this is the horror of resistance. And now, Gulu. After swallowing, Lu Zimo also carefully pulled out the sickle foot from the snake's body. The body of this big snake is a treasure. Especially his blood, although it is highly poisonous, is not fatal to Lu Zimo. It is just perfect for improving the poisonous properties. When will Lu Zimo be able to take a bath with snake blood? Then the first stage of poison resistance will be completed. Thinking of this, Lu Zimo also spit out a lot of spider silk, wrapping the entire snake's body. Then, bit by bit, dragging towards Pansy Valley. That's his base camp. Time passed slowly, and in a blink of an eye, it was already midnight. At this time, Luzimo also successfully brought the snake's body back to Pansy Valley. Not only that, he also found a very huge rock in Pansy Cave, and then used his sickle foot to dig out a hole the size of a millstone in this rock. Immediately afterwards, Luzimo raised his komatsu lightly, aimed at the neck of the big snake, and chopped it off with a sharp knife. Stab it! Just a crisp sound was heard, and countless scarlet blood surged like a spring, continuously pouring towards this big hole. Zzzz. Amidst the continuous sound of corrosion, it seemed that the huge hole could not bear it. Fortunately, Luzimo found something about this rock, which was very hard. It didn't melt directly. Moreover, although the venom of this big snake is terrifying, his blood does not contain much venom. It can only corrode a layer of skin on his body, which is not an exaggeration as imagined. So, this hole can actually carry the blood of a big snake. At this time, Luzimo was silent for a while looking at the scarlet blood the size of a millstone. Immediately, a flash of determination flashed deep in his eyes. If you can't be ruthless to yourself, how can you be ruthless to your enemies? In this way, slowly raising his sickle foot, Luzimo also stretched it towards the blood pool a little bit at a time. And the very next moment, zitsa, along with the continuous sound of corrosion, Luzimo felt a sharp pain. Good guy. There was a strange cry in his heart, but Luzimo noticed the scene in the status bar. Ding, you are suffering from severe poison, resistance to poison plus 0.2. Ding, you are suffering from severe poison, resistance to poison plus 0.2. Ding, you are suffering from severe poison, resistance to poison plus 0.2. With one improvement after another, Luzimo's resistance to toxicity is also slowly rising. It really works. With a smile in his heart, Luzimo also felt that the pain from his sickle foot was relieved a lot. Of course, this is no illusion. With the continuous improvement of antitoxicity, Luzimo's ability to resist the erosion of poisonous blood is also constantly increasing. Although the growth is slow, the effect is still significant. Not long after, Luzimo also decisively lifted his sickle out of the blood pool. This sickle foot is his guarantee for hunting. It cannot be damaged. If he accidentally plays it wrong, Luzimo might explode. Therefore, it must be appropriate. If it feels almost the same, that's it. This is like reading martial arts novels in the past life where someone practiced iron sand palm. It is not possible to rise to perfection overnight. Take your time. Anyway, it will take a long time, and Luzimo is not in a hurry. Moreover, Luzimo is looking forward to the courage of this big snake more than this. This thing should be a great tonic. Thinking of this, Luzimo also rushed towards the big snake corpse. And it's not just snake gallbladders, there are also venomous fangs, which can also be used as collections. All prey must be put to good use. If you can eat it. If you can't eat it, see if it can be used elsewhere. It's a pity that he is a spider. If he were a human, he would not mind making himself a set of clothes using old animal skins. But now, it's pretty good. After simply disposing of the big snake's body, Luzimo also looked into the deepest part of the canyon. There were several animal skins thrown into a nest. This is his spider lair. And he also used the animal skins of his prey to make his spider nest more comfortable and warmer. Late at night, Pansy Valley is as quiet as ever. However, at this time, if you pay attention to the deepest part of this canyon, you will definitely find a black spider as big as a basketball, lying quietly in the nest, thinking about life like a human being. Yes, think. However, what Luzimo is thinking about is not life, but the plan for his own practice. Use the blood pool to improve poison resistance, preferably once a day or two. If you use more, it will be too much. While murmuring softly, Luzimo also raised his sickle. Faintly, he actually felt an indescribable numbness in his legs. This should be the sequelae of bathing in poisonous blood. Fortunately, this numbness is gradually getting better as time goes by, otherwise Luzimo would be scolded. And this is also the reason why Luzimo doesn't want to bathe in the poisonous blood again. Too much is not enough. Luzimo probably won't bathe in the poisonous blood again until this numbness disappears completely. This is no different from the previous life, which still had a hospital. If something happened or there were sequelae, he would be in big trouble. So, be cautious, be careful, you will eventually make a 1,000-year ship. Moreover, Lu Zimo also vaguely understood that his natural adaptability should have a drawback that was not considered a drawback. If you are eager to improve your resistance, you will probably play with fire and burn yourself. While muttering softly, Lu Zimo also had some understanding. This is not a drawback. But one has to be vigilant. However, after simply planning his training plan, Lu Zimo also began to polish his god-level ability, spider silk, on a daily basis. Cobweb. With a chuckle, Lu Zimo spit out a giant net the size of a millstone and shot it towards the boulder not far away. This is a spider web that can constrain other people's actions. If they are covered by this spider web, enemies of the same level will probably be in big trouble. It is worth mentioning that the size of this spider web depends on the speed of Lu Zimo's weaving. The larger the web, the longer it takes to weave. According to Lu Zimo's estimation, at his current level, it would take at least half a minute to build a 10-meter net. This kind of time is also destined to ensure that the current 10-meter large giant net cannot appear in the fleeting battle. And this kind of spider web the size of a millstone only requires a few breaths. Therefore, in regular battles, Lu Zimo spits out giant webs the size of millstones. As for larger spider webs, there is no need. Moreover, Lu Zimo's spider silk is limited. For a short period of time, no more can be added. If weaving a spider web consumes too much, it means that Lu Zimo cannot use other abilities that use spider silk. For example, now, elastic silk. There was another murmur, and then there was a sound that broke through the air, and there was a hole the size of a bullet on the distant boulder. And this is another way to play Lu Zimo's spider silk. Like a bullet, it shoots out a thread of spider silk. It has extremely terrifying lethality, enough to penetrate the enemy's flesh and blood, and even shatter the enemy's bones. Spider web master control. Elastic silk is the main attack. This is how Lu Zimo spider silk is currently used. Also, you use spider silk to move, shoot the spider silk on big trees and rocks to drag your body and quickly cross various obstacles. This should also be a usage. However, the current Lu Zimo has not been sorted out yet. To put it simply, Lu Zimo is not skilled enough to be a housekeeper. Once you get used to it in the future, I guess this will greatly improve Lu Zimo's agility. With a smile in his heart, Lu Zimo is also looking forward to that day. But that's not all, because the spider silk's god-level strengthening gives it unlimited possibilities. Therefore, in terms of development, Lu Zimo's spider silk is also different from ordinary spider silk. As for why you are so sure, that's the silk of other spiders. Can it be moved at will like Lu Zimo? For example, now, as soon as I thought about it, there were actually several crystal spider threads spinning around Lu Zimo, as if dancing, cheering, or even jumping for joy. Not only that, Lu Zimo also feels that he can control these spider threads in an even more subtle way. Can it be stretched continuously like a piano wire? Suddenly thinking, Lu Zimo was suddenly startled. Just because, these crystalline spider threads really started to straighten. Forehead. During a period of silence, Lu Zimo also tentatively manipulated these spider threads and drew them into the distance. Stab it. There was just a crisp sound. Under Lu Zimo's stunned gaze, a branch of a tree not far away silently split into two. At this time, if you look carefully, you will definitely be able to see several crystalline spider threads trembling slowly at the broken branches. And this is also their masterpiece. It is as straight as a piano wire, without the need for other objects to fix it, and then moves at high speed to cut this branch. Quick and terrible, chilling. But, after completing this series of operations, Lu Zimo felt a rare sense of fatigue. Yes, tired. That's not physical exhaustion, but spiritually. Could it be that controlling spider silk like this consumes my mental energy? While muttering softly, Lu Zimo was also a little confused. Spiritual power is invisible and intangible, but it really exists in this world. At least, in the chat channel, Lu Zimo saw the word, mental power, more than once. Mental strength. While muttering softly, Lu Zimo also turned his gaze to the spiritual column. The spirit among the four-dimensional attributes. His spirit is 12, and ordinary people are 10. In other words, he is a little smarter than the average person. And this, spirit, should be closely related to spiritual power. With a smile in his heart, Luzimo also decided to use 2000 evolution points to develop his brain. This is what he has always thought. Now, his evolution point has reached 2200, which is enough. Therefore, the idea of strengthening the brain can also be implemented. Thinking of this, Luzimo also said directly, I want to spend 2000 evolution points to strengthen my brain. As soon as he finished speaking, a line of text appeared in front of his eyes. Ding, are you sure you want to spend 2000 evolution points to strengthen your brain? Sure. Nodding, Luzimo also had a decision in his heart. And just after he confirmed it, a series of messages also popped up. Ding, it takes 10 minutes to strengthen your brain. Please choose a safe place. Ding, the enhanced brain area will endure unbearable pain, please be prepared. ... Amidst the prompts one after another, Luzimo was shocked. But not long after this, Luzimo did not wait to make more preparations. Ah! The screams suddenly echoed in the valley. Pain, unimaginable pain, like thousands of silver needles, constantly piercing his mind, even Luzimo couldn't bear it. However, amidst the constant piercing, Luzimo saw. I saw that his mental power, which had never been used before, had a rare increase. 12.2, 12.4, ... 13, 13.2, a little bit, then a little bit, and keep growing. At the same time, Luzimo also felt the pain in his head becoming more and more terrifying. However, he cannot be unconscious. Never, just because Luzimo saw another reminder. Ding, the development of your brain depends on your mental endurance. When you cannot bear it, further development will be stopped. One sentence made Luzimo grit his teeth. Definitely hold up. Absolutely. As a human in his previous life, he deeply understood what brain development meant. This is definitely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So, cherish every time. ... Time passed slowly, and in the blink of an eye it was already midnight. But in the middle of the night, Luzimo felt like his days were like years. There was a lot of sweat overflowing from his body. Okay, panting heavily, Luzimo's eyes were also focused on the spirit column. There is a dazzling number, blackjack. It has increased by 9 points. With a smile on his face, Luzimo was also satisfied. Although, he doesn't know how much other people's brain development can grow. But he had a feeling that his 9-point increase was already pretty good. But alas, he couldn't bear it anymore. An indescribable feeling of sleepiness swept over him. And at the next moment, Luzimo's consciousness fell into chaos, and his whole body fell into the nest and fell asleep. However, when Luzimo was asleep, he didn't know, one message after another kept popping up in his light screen. Ding, your spirit has reached over 20 points. You have gained the spiritual ability, detection. You can check the strength of monsters whose spiritual power is weaker than yours. There is even a chance of peeking at the opponent's abilities. Ding, your spirit is under attack, your spirit resistance plus 0.2. Ding, your spirit is under attack, your spirit resistance plus 0.2. Ding, your spirit is under attack, your spirit resistance plus 0.2. ... One prompt after another means that Luzimo has opened up a new field. That is the spiritual realm. It is a terrifying realm different from the physical body. In this field, Luzimo will truly gain transcendent power. ... The fog is rising and dawn is approaching. When the first ray of morning light pierced the mist, Luzimo slowly opened his sleepy eyes. Tired, very tired. ... And then, indescribably refreshed. And that's not all. What really shocked Luzimo was that he noticed changes in his brain. An indescribable strange feeling arose in his heart. I really can't tell, it's unclear. But Luzimo felt that his thinking speed seemed to have accelerated a lot. What used to take him a few seconds to figure out, now may only take him 1 second. This is the development of the brain. While muttering softly, Luzimo also noticed another point, that is, he felt that the world seemed to have slowed down a lot. No, it's not that the world has slowed down. But the speed of his thinking has indeed accelerated. Then, according to the theory of relativity, the speeding up of his thinking is equivalent to the slowing down of the world. If this is put in battle, when the enemy attacks, he can think more and make more counterattacks. Thinking of this, Zemo also had a smile on his face. Sure enough, it was not in vain for him to spend 2,000 evolution points to develop his brain. Totally worth it. The brain is the most mysterious and terrifying thing. With a sigh, Zemo also turned his attention to the prompt bar. Boy, tons of tips. Moreover, he actually gained 2 abilities. One is the active ability, Detection, which can check the level of monsters whose mental power is weaker than yours and has a chance to peek into some of their abilities. One is a passive ability, which has a certain degree of resistance to mental attacks. To put it simply, it is mental resistance. It seemed that his pain this night was not in vain. At least, his mental resistance is as high as 5, the highest among all his resistances. After spending 2,000 evolution points to develop his brain, Zemo only had 200 evolution points. However, the effort of these 2,000 evolution points is definitely worth it. After all, this is the realm of the brain. In previous lives, human beings spent their entire lives in areas that were difficult to enter. Moreover, now, when Zemo thinks about it carefully, he can actually recall many vague details of his previous life. He was even able to recite some forgotten ancient poems from the past. In this way, one can imagine how terrifying the strengthening of the brain is. And this also gave Zemo a taste of the sweetness. Next, Zemo plans to try to strengthen his eyes and ears. The strengthening of eyes should greatly improve eyesight, and there is even a chance of awakening an ability related to eyes. The strengthening of ears is about hearing. As for the next development of the brain domain, this is not urgent. After all, for the next brain development, the demand for evolution points is 20,000. Higher and higher every time. Therefore, it may be difficult for the brain to be strengthened a second time in a short period of time. In this way, strengthening other places is naturally the first choice. And this is also Zemo's use of evolutionary points. Strengthen all aspects. This makes him powerful and invulnerable. Others definitely can't do it. After all, evolutionary points are limited. But Zemo is different. He has a system that can help him automatically break through when his skill proficiency reaches its peak. Therefore, Zemo can save a lot of evolution points. In this way, with the same number of evolutionary points, Zemo can naturally strengthen more body parts and extend more abilities. This should be one step ahead and one step ahead. While his thoughts were swirling, Zemo also began to continue to hone his various abilities. And in this constant training, his proficiency in various abilities is also constantly increasing. However, shortly after that, ding, your ability, Kamazu proficiency has reached 100. Ding, you can spend 1,000 evolution points to upgrade the LV1 Kamazu to LV2. Zemo was also startled amidst the text prompts one after another. The proficiency level of Kamazu's ability is actually full. He didn't pay attention. That's a good thing, though. As for the second tip, Zemo selectively ignored it and spent 1,000 evolution points to upgrade the LV1 sickle foot to the LV2 level. Sorry, it's a bit extravagant. Wouldn't it be great to have 1,000 evolution points and strengthen your eyesight and hearing? With a smile in his heart, Zemo raised his sickle foot again and slashed it into the air. Shua! Along with the sound of breaking through the air, Zemo felt a warm current surge from his sickle feet. Accompanied by this, a very cold notification sound suddenly sounded in my ears. Ding! It is detected that Kamazu's proficiency is at full level, and the breakthrough will automatically start. This is the power of my system. As expected, it can automatically break through after my ability reaches the shackles. While muttering softly, Zemo also noticed that the attribute text on his panel had changed. LV2 Scythe Foot, a sickle-like foot blade that can simply change part of its form and transform into an even more terrifying blade. It can also transform into the original spider legs. Closing square bracket. With his eyes focused, Zemo also noticed another inexplicable force, which seemed to be surging at the edge of his feet. At this time, with a thought, Zemo also tried to activate the ability of Kamazoku. Boom! During the sudden roar, one could see Zemo's sickle legs extending, and becoming even longer. At a glance, there is still a cold glow surging. Chilling. Now, Zemo's sickle is more like a sharp weapon. And this is the LV2 level Kamazu. It looks a little scary. With a smile in his heart, Luzimo also raised his sickle foot and slashed towards the boulder not far away. Stab it. There was just a crisp sound, and a half-meter large stone was split into two, revealing a smooth incision. It's really scary. With a sigh, Luzimo also controlled the sickle foot and continued to change. And not long after this, looking at the sickle, who was no different from the other 6 legs, the corners of Luzimo's mouth curled up slightly. Now, his sickle legs seem to have not evolved. It's just that it's a bit thicker than the 6-legged ones. And this should be Kamazu's initial posture. And if Luzimo wanted to, these 2 spider legs could immediately turn into the sharpest sickle legs and kill everything. As for Luzimo, why he turned his sickle legs into the original spider legs? It was naturally to hide his clumsiness. When others see his sharp blade like a sickle, they will probably be wary. But like him now, if it was just an ordinary spider leg at first, others wouldn't be wary. When Luzimo got closer, the ordinary spider legs suddenly turned into the sharpest sickle legs, and then he struck a fatal blow. This is what Luzimo really wants to see. However, Luzimo did not expect that after Kamazu's ability was upgraded, he could actually change back to his original posture. This made it easier for him to hide his clumsiness. As expected of a LV2 Kamazu, he can actually change his posture. While muttering softly, Luzimo was also a little surprised. This, if used properly, can be a killer move to deceive people. Life as a spider is both monotonous and interesting. It's monotonous because Luzimo's daily life is about 3 o'clock in one line. Hunting, training and even sleeping. What's interesting is that Luzimo can feel that he is getting stronger day by day. Moreover, every day, he can encounter different prey. These, prey, make Luzimo particularly happy. Just like now. Ho, ho, roaring one after another, a white creature that looked like a fox was covered in fur and stared at him with a pair of eyes. This guy has very keen senses. She must have noticed how scary he was. With a smile in his heart, Luzimo also tried to activate his ability perception. Race, Wind Fox, Level 9. Evaluation. It comes without a trace, goes without a trace, extremely fast. It is a monster that is extremely good at speed. While staring quietly, Luzimo's eyes also condensed slightly. Such a small fox is actually a level 9 monster. Only 2 levels below him, and also extremely good at speed. Luzimo was stunned, and Luzimo was also a little helpless. Since reaching level 10, his leveling up speed has obviously slowed down. It's been 3 days, and he has barely reached a level. Reached level 11. But, not bad. In the past 3 days, he has adapted to many abilities, and his combat power has improved by more than 1 level. And now, looking at this small wind fox, Luzimo also decided to play with him. However, when Luzimo was staring at this wind fox, he didn't know that this wind fox was about to collapse. Why am I so unlucky? I have just advanced and I have encountered such a terrifying monster. Oh my god! Exclaiming again and again, this wind fox was particularly uneasy. That's right, this wind fox is clearly a player. Moreover, in her previous life, she was a sprinter in a university and a national level 2 athlete. In addition, she was very good looking and was once considered a goddess. But who would have thought that she would come to this ghost world? Fortunately, she is good at running, and she was reborn into the body of Wind Fox, who is good at speed. This also makes her stand out among many players. Moreover, it is worth mentioning that her innate ability is danger perception. Compared to ordinary players and even monsters, her sense of danger is even more acute. This innate ability also allowed her to thrive in this forest. In just 1 month, she has already reached level 9. I wanted to take advantage of this breakthrough to master my abilities. But she never imagined that a random spider she encountered could be so terrifying. Especially the moment when this spider stared at her with its 8 eyes, it actually made her breathless. The hairs all over my body stand on end. An indescribable coldness grew in her heart. Run, must run. Her innate ability to sense danger is now constantly conveying this meaning to her. That means running. If she doesn't run away, she's afraid. Therefore, slowly retreating, the blue eyes of this wind fox were staring at this spider. But, just the next moment, Shua. In the sudden sky, this wind fox saw. When she saw it, a black shadow rushed toward her. So fast. With a cry of surprise in his heart, this wind fox also activated its ability without hesitation. Wind step. Wrap the wind around your limbs, which can greatly increase your speed. Yes, Shua. As soon as the figure moved, a strong wind suddenly rose, but the wind fox was the first to be pulled behind. However, she didn't wait for her to run further. A chill came over my heart. Turning around subconsciously, this wind fox suddenly saw. When I saw this spider, the originally ordinary spider legs suddenly turned into sickle-like foot blades. Stab it. After narrowly avoiding the danger, the wind fox noticed that a big tree not far away suddenly split into two, revealing a cut as smooth as a mirror. His whole body trembled, and the wind fox was also a little confused. If this person is hit, there is no way to survive. How could this broken forest have such ferocious monsters? As expected, I hate spiders the most. He was so scared that he almost cried, and the eyes of this wind fox were slightly red. What a pity. She's really just an ordinary girl. At most, it's pretty. Then, get good at running. But why should she go through this? She really doesn't want to die. There was an indescribable grievance in his heart, and the wind fox kept dodging the sharp slashes of the black spider. However, at this time, the wind fox was shocked to find that this black spider did not seem to have the intention to kill her. His offensive, although terrifying. But every time, it was dangerous and dangerous, brushing her hair. This is definitely not her reaction. But this spider didn't want to kill her. Yes, I don't want to kill her. If this spider thought so, she might already be a cold corpse when the first slash came. The girl's sixth sense made her realize this. However, the next moment, this wind fox seemed to have thought of something, and his expression suddenly froze. Could this guy be a player? However, at the moment when this thought flashed, boom, with a loud noise, the entire body of this wind fox flew out violently. Unimaginable pain spread throughout his body. But before she could react, a half-meter large white spider web enveloped her. Okay, I'm overthinking it. His heart suddenly sank to the bottom, and Fengu's consciousness slowly blurred due to the severe pain. Is this guy a player? Suddenly sighing, looking at the unconscious white fox not far away, shrouded in cobwebs, Luzimo felt helpless. Are you a player? To be honest, it's not difficult for him to detect. The reaction speed and strength of real monsters are completely beyond the reach of ordinary players. Most of today's players have just arrived. When fighting, there is obvious stiffness. And, more importantly, have you ever seen a monster burst into tears and its eyes turn red because of a slash? So, when he made the first slash, Luzimo had already noticed that this wind fox was a player. He is also a mentally fragile player. Thinking of this, Luzimo's eyes also focused on the necklace-like thing on the neck of this wind fox. This is not something ordinary monsters can possess. It's a sign of the player. Not long ago, he saw in the group that some players suggested decorating their bodies. Something like a necklace or a tattoo. In this way, when players meet, they can identify the other player's identity. To be honest, it's not a bad idea. After all, we are all Blue Star people. If there is no interest involved, it is best not to be enemies with each other. According to the guesses of some highly intelligent players, their real enemy should be this other world. Yes, against the world. There is a great master of gaming who said this on the World Channel. We came to this world to invade. Now we have become the fourth natural disaster, and our mission is to occupy this world while growing. So our enemy is this world all-intelligent life. There are many loopholes in his statement. But it has to be said that his statement won the recognition of many players. Even now, this great master of gaming has begun to form his organization on the World Channel. It's called Star. Every player can have a 5-pointed star imprinted on their body and be deemed to have joined. Luzimo believes that that guy is not just a member of the World Channel. More should be the establishment of regional channels. Perhaps, in the area where the great player is, there is already a prototype of an organization. Human beings in previous lives had no shortage of smart people. There is no shortage of great gods. There are many great gods like this. ... And now, staring at this wind fox quietly, Luzimo also hesitated. Now, what to do? Forget it, let's take it back and look at it again. Thinking of this, Luzimo also dragged this wind fox and walked towards Pansy Valley. And on the way back with this wind fox, Luzimo also rarely started to decide where to go in the future. Do you really want to be alone? He believed that he could grow up alone. But the problem is, the power of numbers is hard to ignore. Just like the Xingqian organization mentioned before, it is more likely that the high-playing master who calls himself Xingqian has started hunting in an organized and purposeful way. A player is an unpredictable prey. Several players, or even a dozen players can do it together. In this way, even if this star god is not very talented, he can still grow quickly. If Luzimo remembers correctly, this star god seemed to have said on the World Channel 2 days ago that his level had reached level 10. You know, the reason why Luzimo is level 11 is largely due to his god-level spider silk, which can help him jump to the next level. Moreover, he can also weave spider webs and wait for rabbits. In terms of hunting alone, his efficiency is probably several times that of other players. In this way, he can reach the 11th level. But now, this great star god is actually at the 10th level. Tisk tisk. After smacking his mouth, Luzimo also sighed. This is the wisdom of human beings. Players with intelligence, inhabiting monsters with power, are not as simple as 1 plus 1. Although most players do not have the power to adapt to monsters, their power will continue to show as time goes by. Luzimo believes that in the future, these grown-up players will be far more powerful than real monsters. For example, himself. With a smile in his heart, Luzimo was also a little proud. For someone like him to be able to reach this point by himself, among many players, he should be considered one of the best. But at this time, Luzimo didn't know that he still underestimated himself. Among the many players, he is no longer just one of the best. Except for those monsters that start too high, he is definitely one of the most powerful. You know, most players are still in PlayerUnknown's battlegrounds. Not to mention hunting, it would be nice to be alive if you level up. Just like this wind fox, even though she is level 9, her hunting ability and combat ability are really not good. The reason why she upgraded so quickly. The main reason was that she was lucky enough to pick up the corpse of a very high-level monster. This allowed her to reach level 9. As for how pitiful she was before, I won't talk about it. Every day I am either on the way to escape or preparing to escape. If it weren't for the fact that the monster she was reincarnated into was a wind fox, a monster best at speed, and her talent was danger perception, she would have become food for other monsters. And this is also the norm for most players. Now, players have become polarized. Players who adapt to this world become stronger as they fight, growing at an extremely terrifying speed every day. Players who don't adapt to this world will either become food or be on the run, trying to survive. The situation was so miserable that it was beyond anyone's imagination. As Luzimo saw on the World Channel, there was a player who seemed to have not eaten meat for 4 or 5 days. He was eating leaves and grass roots every day, and he was frightened every day, fearing that he would encounter monsters. If it weren't for his willpower, I'm afraid he would have committed suicide long ago. Feiyu is here to strive for authenticity. If global reincarnation really happened, to be honest, Feiyu believed that 50% of human beings would not survive a month, and even more exaggerated, 80 to 90% was unimaginable. Moreover, there is another point, that is, most players should really be in PlayerUnknown's battlegrounds. There is no resurrection in this game. There is no starting over. Dead, just dead. It was already late at night when we returned to Pansy Valley. And at this time, click, click, amidst the blood dripping, Luzimo was eating a wild boar. Ding, you are eating a level 5 wild boar, experience plus 50. Ding, you are eating a level 5 wild boar, experience plus 50. Amid repeated reminders, Luzimo was extremely satisfied with this. That is, you can become stronger by eating. Moreover, it is still getting stronger visible to the naked eye. With a smile, Luzimo also speeded up his eating. However, at this moment, roar, a sudden low roar came from a corner of the canyon. Looking for the sound, in a corner of the canyon, a corner covered with cobwebs, there was a white fox, and he slowly opened his eyes. Ho, ho, roaring one after another, the white fox seemed to react nervously and fearfully. His whole body was trembling. "You're awake." While murmuring softly, Lou Zemo also slowly turned his gaze and looked not far away. Roar! With a sudden roar, the white fox's entire hair exploded. "Are you so scared, or do I look scary?" Somewhat stunned, Lou Zemo was also puzzled. Now, it is difficult for him to understand the white fox's feelings. But, yes, in his eyes, he has a beauty filter. The whole body is as black as ink, like a black gemstone. Especially the gem-like eyes are extremely cute. However, his appearance, especially the way he eats, is not so scary in the eyes of outsiders. Blood blurred his cheeks, and flesh and blood kept flying out. The terrifying sickle feet moved continuously. Just one look at it makes people feel trembling. And those 8 eyes. At the same time, there is a suffocating oppression while staring. At this moment, the white fox seemed to have stopped breathing. Am I so scary? Seeing the little white tiger with a frozen expression, Lou Zemo shook his head helplessly. Forget it. Stop bullying her. She's so timid, she must be a girl. Thinking about this, Lou Zemo also moved his legs lightly. Shua, shua. Along with the continuous piercing of the sky, countless spider threads were withdrawn by him, leaving this little white fox with an exit for her to walk out. This is, suddenly startled, Bai Hu was also stunned when looking at this exit. However, before she could think more, boom! With a sound breaking through the air, a pig leg still dripping with blood flew towards her and hit her in front of her forehead. Stunned again and again, the white fox was also dumbfounded. However, the next moment, as if he understood something, Bai Hu's eyes suddenly widened. "Are you a player?" There was an exclamation in his heart, and a look of disbelief appeared on Bai Hu's eyes and face. Is this really a player? However, are there really such powerful players now? I still can't accept it. But her stomach made a gurgling sound at an inopportune time. She is hungry, really hungry. She had not eaten for a whole day and night. Looking at this pig leg, she could no longer suppress the desire in her heart. With a sharp body jump, she rushed toward the pig leg. Time always passes inadvertently, but at this time, there was an extremely strange scene in the canyon. That was a very cute white fox, kneeling in front of a spider the size of a basketball, with a very respectful face. There was even an indescribable excitement on his face. Really a player. Really a player. When this spider wrote the word, Jung, on the ground, a look of ecstasy appeared on the white fox's face. Naturally, it is possible that one will not have to die. The second is that she seems to have found a companion. Moreover, this companion seems to be somewhat powerful. However, the most important thing now is to get to know this big boss. My name is Han Ruizu, a native of, from the Magic City. Sophomore, college student, 22 years old this year. The paws kept scratching on the ground, and this white fox also started to introduce himself very wisely. As a female college student. There was a murmur in his heart, but Lou Zemo didn't take it seriously. It was pretty much what he had guessed. However, he guessed that he was cheating on a female high school student. There wasn't much response, just Lou Zemo, silently carving one word on the ground, silent. Single name, Mo. As for, more, sorry, he won't reveal much. In that case, I can call you Brother Mo. Looking at a line of words that suddenly appeared on the ground, Lou Zemo also raised his eyebrows. Brother Mo, if he remembers well, he seems to be younger than this female college student. But forget it, don't care so much. Now, the most important thing is to talk something with this white fox. He is not a kind person. The reason why he didn't kill the white fox was largely because he needed someone to help him. Indeed, he chose to walk alone. But it doesn't matter, there are people helping him. Simply put, Lou Zemo plans to build a small organization with him as the absolute core. Everything about this small organization serves him. It will also facilitate his growth. Of course, this white fox is just a small experiment. If that doesn't work, think of something else. The mountains are high and the forests are dense. The strong wind blows and the trees fall down, just like a hurricane rolling up in the sea. In an instant, the waves surged and the roaring sounds were endless. But at this moment, deep in the mountain, there were two figures walking together. However, What is shocking is that this turned out to be a black spider the size of a basketball and a fox with very white hair. Lu Zimo and Han Ruizu. During a simple exchange, Lu Zimo reached cooperation with this little fox. That is, she worked for Lu Zimo. For example, warning. Her natural ability is danger perception, which allows her to have a certain awareness of powerful monsters. Such talent makes Lu Zimo a little happy. Just like now. Mo, southeast, I feel danger. That's it. While murmuring softly, Lu Zimo also gave the little fox a look of, you understand. Then, his entire body was shot towards the big tree not far away. Spider silk, the heart moves at will. Continuously entangling one big tree after another, Lu Zimo's figure also leapt into the distance at an extremely terrifying speed. The danger perceived by the little fox is not necessarily danger to Lu Zimo. Perhaps the best prey. With this in mind, Lu Zimo also had some expectations. At this time, looking at the black spider that suddenly went away, the little fox's beautiful eyes widened. This speed is really outrageous. We are both players, so why is the gap so big? With a sigh in his heart, the little fox followed obediently. As for escape, that was impossible. Not to mention, it is rare to encounter such thick thighs. This guy alone, with the toxin injected into his body, would make it impossible for her to escape. However, until now, the little fox is still very resentful. This fool, are you actually poisoning her? What a jerk. However, if you think about it carefully, the little fox can understand it. Like the black spider didn't believe her. Could it be that she doesn't believe in black spiders? Trusting this thing takes time. But now, what the two of them need is time. However, the little fox still feels bad about what this fool threatened him with. If you dare to betray me, what are you thinking? I am a fox and you are a spider. Seeing the strange gaze of the black spider, the little fox also felt his butt tighten. So what, segregation doesn't affect your loss of virginity. Quote. During a period of silence, the little fox also felt a chill on his back. She seemed to have met a demon. A true devil. Of course, this is more of a joke. This is a way for the two to get to know each other faster. And not long after, Lu Zimo also saw it while leaning on a big tree. I saw a very huge black bison walking slowly on the ground. Race, Earth Cow. Level 10. Evaluation. Stepping on the ground, the energy is endless, and it possesses extremely terrifying power. With the help of his detection ability, Lu Zimo quickly captured the key to this monster. The earth, the strength. While muttering softly, Lu Zimo also kept an eye on it. The strength of this giant black bull is probably not ordinary. However, this does not affect his hunting. A piece of spider silk rolled towards the big tree opposite. Lu Zimo also used this spider thread to fly through the air towards the giant black bull. And just at the same time, Kamatashi. With a murmur, Lu Zimo's front spider legs turned into two very slender sharp blades in an instant. Amidst the surging cold light, a feeling of palpitations also appeared in the heart of the giant black bull in the distance. Moo! With a sudden roar, the black bull seemed to sense the danger. But the next moment, boom! Terrifying power suddenly poured down from high altitude. As powerful as a giant black bull, it stumbles. However, Lu Zimo was also stunned when he looked at the green bull's wound, which was only a few centimeters deep. The defense is so thick. There was a strange scream in his heart, but Lu Zimo saw this green bull roaring upwards. Boom, boom, boom. With the terrible vibration, his whole body crashed towards Lu Zimo like a locomotive. With your speed, if you can hit me, I will lose. With a sneer, Lu Zimo also laughed when he saw the speed of this giant black bull. With his power, he killed the giant black bull with one strike. But the speed of this giant black bull was really not enough in front of him. Just like now, pulling his body sideways, Lu Zimo easily avoided the collision of this giant black bull. Brain development is more than just memory enhancement. What's more, there is also the enhancement of reflex nerves. To put it simply, Lu Zimo can easily avoid attacks that were too late to react in the past. In a daze, the enemy's attacks were half a beat too slow in Lu Zimo's eyes. And this also means that Lu Zimo's combat power has been enhanced to another level. So, Darkness entwines. Amidst the sudden violent drinking, dark magic also surged up, constantly wrapping around Luzimo's sickle feet, causing Luzimo's sickle feet to emit a hazy black halo. Dark magic, main corrosion, can corrode the enemy, which is equivalent to ignoring part of the enemy's defense. And this is what really hurts. Real harm. Moo, moo. Roaring repeatedly, the giant black bull seemed to be aware of the crisis. But no matter how quick he reacts, is it possible that he can still be faster than Luzimo, who is so close at hand? With a smile in his heart, Luzimo's sickle foot suddenly became like a spear, stabbing hard towards the belly of the giant black bull. Stab it! With a sharp sound, Luzimo's sickle foot was mostly submerged into the body of this huge bison. However, this is not the end. A large monster like this has extremely tenacious vitality. So, through it, with a thought, dozens of crystalline spider threads shot towards Luzimo's torn wound like steel needles. Moo, moo. The sudden cry was so tragic that the little fox not far away trembled. And the next moment, when she actually rushed to the battlefield, she saw. I saw the body of a giant black bull, which was trembling continuously. And inside his body, there are scarlet spider threads one after another, coming out of his body. These spider threads kept twisting in the air, like poisonous snakes, but they all spread out from the black spider. Looking from a distance, dozens of crystalline spider silks lingered around the black spider, and countless blood spread. It's ferocious and terrifying. It makes people shudder. Oh my God! Covering his mouth and exclaiming, the little fox was dumbfounded. Is this how powerful Mo is? To be able to kill large monsters so easily. And, more importantly, his killing was so beautiful. Yes, so beautiful. Bloody crystal spider threads surrounded him, although they looked terrifying. But more of it is a kind of beauty. The beauty of killing alone. At this time, the black spider seemed to have noticed the arrival of the little fox, and the black spider slowly raised its sickle legs. Ah, ah, ah. More spider silk spurted out like a white torrent, and in just a moment, it turned into a giant web and wrapped around the giant black cow. It's been packed for you, remember to take it back. After giving the order, Luzimo didn't stay much longer. Now, he is going to hunt other monsters. And this is the advantage of having a little fox. With him, there is no need for Luzimo when packing or anything. He can save more time hunting monsters. Thus, seize every minute and every second to become stronger. Becoming stronger is not just an improvement in level. There is more to the understanding of combat. And Luzimo is the kind of being who longs to grow in battle. ... Time passed slowly, and in the blink of an eye, more than half a month had passed. But on this day, one could see a black spider, larger than a basketball, lying quietly deep in the canyon. This is Luzimo. For more than half a month, he continued to hunt and kill, and he was promoted to 3 levels in a row. As of now, he is already level 14. And this is not the point. The real point is that during these 3 days, he also awakened 2 abilities. One is the enhancement of vision. The obtained LV1 level of farsightedness allows him to see more distant things. At the same time, when his pupils shrink, Luzimo can also capture more subtle things as if they are magnified. For example, the little fox not far away has extremely soft white hair. Under Luzimo's farsightedness, every detail appears. In addition to being farsighted, he also has enhanced hearing. Similar to farsightedness, hearing is greatly improved. Moreover, Luzimo seems to be able to capture more unusual sounds. That was not a sound frequency that spiders could hear, but now Luzimo could hear it. Very good too. This enhancement of vision and hearing has consumed most of my evolution points. With a sigh, Luzimo also felt sorry for the evolution point. This thing is hard to come by. He earned it through battle after battle. For this reason, he suffered some injuries. Just like now, if you pay attention to his back, you will definitely see a very hideous wound, which is already scarred. This is a bite mark. Another big snake. However, that guy was extremely fast, and when Luzimo wasn't paying attention, he suddenly made a sneak attack, which made Luzimo break into a cold sweat just thinking about it. But, while muttering softly, Luzimo also focused on a brand new ability. Enhancement of self-healing ability, LV1, can greatly increase the speed of self-healing. This should be considered a passive ability. Although it can be upgraded, But it takes getting hurt again and again. If it reaches level 9, it is probably possible to regenerate a severed limb. However, what Lu Zimo is really looking forward to is the sublimation of this passive skill. If it becomes a god-level skill, can it make me reborn with my blood? In his soft murmur, Lu Zimo also made no secret of his ambition. God-level skills that others may not be able to achieve. After all, upgrading to level 2 requires 1000 evolution points. To upgrade to level 3, you need 10,000 evolution points. As for the god level above level 9, there are at least 1 billion or even more evolutionary points. Such an evolutionary point is enough to make any player despair. But Lu Zimo is different. His skills do not require evolution points to upgrade. Only requires full proficiency, and this also means that one god level skill after another is within his reach. And this all just takes time. If I could get something to increase skill proficiency, I'd probably become a god in the next second. Of course, this is what Lu Zimo thinks about. Proficiency is something that can only be gained slowly. However, fortunately, the proficiency of many skills does not increase bit by bit. For example, Lu Zimo's passive ability, self-healing ability, depends on the degree of Lu Zimo's injury. If he is seriously injured, he will recover slowly. It is estimated that the proficiency level will be directly raised to the full value and promoted to level 2. However, he was seriously injured. Lu Zimo didn't want to. In this world, serious injury is equal to seeking death. Therefore, Lu Zimo relies more on small self-mutilations every day to improve his proficiency in self-healing ability. Just like now, the sickle was raised, and Lu Zimo also made a small wound on his body. A little bit, then a little bit of scarlet, also overflowed. Wow, this pervert is hurting himself again. There was a strange cry, and the little fox from far away widened his eyes when he saw Lu Zimo's behavior. Sure enough, the guy he met was a weirdo. Not at all different from others. Not to mention fighting powerful monsters every day. He often does strange things. For example, taking a poisonous bloodbath, or self-mutilation. At this time, as if he noticed something, Lu Zimo also raised his eyes and looked at the corner of the canyon. There was a white fur ball, curled up tightly. This is a little fox with snow-white fur. Its two dark eyes are curved, and its fluffy tail is raised high. Its body is petite and cute, making anyone who sees it want to hug and caress it. The little fox's snow-white and smooth body. And this is Han Ruizu. She was reincarnated as a wind fox and finally reached the 10th level 10 days ago. Although, to a large extent, it was because of Lu Zimo's help, she also worked hard enough. At least, this half-month has helped Lu Zimo a lot. Like the current canyon, she also kept it in order. In Lu Zimo's words, he is a good servant. Of course, Lu Zimo never said this to the little fox. If she knew, she would be furious again. With a smile in his heart, Lu Zimo also raised his eyes and looked to the southeast of the canyon. In the past half-month, he had explored more than 10 kilometers into the forest outside the canyon. During this period, he hunted many low-level monsters, so as to continuously strengthen itself. However, just yesterday, he found some weird guys, like a human, but with pointed ears. However, their skin is green. Dark green or light green. At first glance, it looks indescribably ugly. Brother, B.U. Lin. Amidst the deep voice, Lu Zimo's expression kept changing. Goblins are legendary humanoid evil creatures with greedy and despicable personalities. They tend to be evil, cunning and good at deception. This is a life that should exist in legend. I didn't expect it to actually exist in this world. After taking a deep breath and suppressing his thoughts, Lu Zimo thought of another possibility. Even goblins exist in this world. Then other intelligent life may also exist. Like an elf, or the humans of this world. So, his face kept changing, and Lu Zimo's thoughts were also racing. What would happen if the intelligent life in this world realized that many monsters possess advanced intelligence? Even if they know that we are from another world, what will happen? From the perspective of intelligent life in this world, the first thing that comes to Lu Zimo's mind is threat. Yes, a threat. The existence of players is definitely a huge threat to the intelligent life in this world. After all, most intelligent life forms are opposed to monsters. It's like humans and beasts in previous lives. They are not of the same race, the weak and the strong eat each other. Humans eat wild beasts, and wild beasts eat humans. And so is this world. Monsters eat people, and people eat monsters. But the problem is that the reason why monsters are monsters is because most of them have no intelligence. They are like beasts with abilities. Even though they are powerful, they are just food in the eyes of intelligent beings. But now, some monsters actually possess the wisdom of life in another world. The growth rate and potential of these monsters may increase exponentially. So, how can it not be a threat to the intelligent life in this world? Moreover, not to mention, there are some very ambitious guys among the players. Therefore, it is only a matter of time before players collide with intelligent life in this world. I should be more careful about the intelligent life in this world than monsters. While muttering softly, Lou Zemo decided to try to contact the goblins in the forest. If possible, it would be best to get more information about the world from them. Thinking of this, Lou Zemo also said hello to the little fox, turned around and rushed towards the forest. This time, he didn't plan to take the little fox with him. After all, Lou Zemo couldn't decide whether these goblins were strong or weak. If something unexpected happened, it would be easier for him to run alone. But with the little fox, it's hard to say. Therefore, it is best not to bring it. Shua, shua. Traveling through the woods at high speed, Lou Zemo's movements became crisper and clearer. Spider silk, the heart moves at will. His entire body was constantly rippling in the forest with the help of spider silk. During the past half-month of hunting, his abilities had not only increased. He also has further control over his body. Now, it can be said unceremoniously that with the same attributes, the current Lou Zemo can beat the two of himself 10 days ago. This is growth. Now it is even more flexible and sharp. However, at this moment, as if he noticed something, Lou Zemo shuddered. Thanks to his enhanced hearing, he could already hear some sounds. In this way, he also climbed up a big tree for the first time, and slowly groped away in the direction of the sound. And not long after that, while leaning on a tree, Lou Zemo saw. I saw 3 thin, ugly, and petite figures sitting together under a big tree not far away. They have dark green skin. Eyes red. Next to him, there is a weapon like a mace. It seems that it is indeed intelligent life. Actually knows how to use weapons. Moreover, one of them, a goblin who was suspected to be a woman, was still wearing animal skin, which narrowed half of her body and covered her sensitive parts. Goblins also have a sense of shame. While muttering softly, Lou Zemo was even more convinced that these 3 guys had so-called wisdom. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.